ISO, Dama.
Hey, there's so many lies, so many lies. Hey, there's so many lies, so many lies. Yo, there's so many. Hey, there's so many. Yo, there's so many. Yo, there's so many lies. Look in my eyes, they know I'm the truth. Knocking them down every time I step in the booth. We ain't gotta lie, they know we the vibe, we living in proof. It's young conscious, you my life a movie, I live in a spoof. Ain't no sticking around, I'm on the move, I'm checking the deuce. Yeah, it's only us two, so you know we copping that coupe. We on the roof, smoking dope, look at the view. Yeah, we used to chill on the stoop, now we out here breaking the news. It ain't what you really could do, cause we ain't got nothing to lose. We ain't switch side with no cruise, we just stayed out of the loop. Now we out here letting it loose, every shot we took it was swoosh. Gotta get it, ain't no excuse, ain't left to prove. Hey, yeah, hey, there's so many lies, so many lies. Hey, there's so many lies, so many lies. Yo, there's so many, hey, there's so many, yo, there's so many.
Yeah, ask them a real question, yeah, I bet it's all lies. Hey, they won't cross that line for a fact that's offsides. Hey, too much penalties when they run this back, yeah, it's fines. Hey, could've been here with us, but we do not force no vibes. Hey, she gon' ride the whip and let me park it in the driveway. They just want the praise like they Yahweh. Getting so much bread, yeah, the ride way. We done already won, yeah, that's worth the ride way. But they still lying right through their teeth, and they still hiding behind many truths. They was D9, watch my every move, tell them keep fine. Leave that shit on scene, I ain't replying. Less I know you, that don't mean I'm Hollywood, that just mean I'm Hollywood. All y'all I probably stood on no falls, all cause. More times I probably should, I don't know nobody like us. You see how much time it took.
Yeah, hey, there's so many lies, so many lies, so many lies. Hey, there's so many lies, so many lies, so many, there's so many, hey, there's so many, yo, there's so many.
Hey, there's too many lies, hey. Yeah, ISO, Indies, Dama.
ISO, Dama. Yeah. Conscious. Matic. Alright, so far away I come from.
I sit and wonder about the times that it made sense, but nowadays I don't worry about what's past tense. My younger days I used to hang around with mad friends. If we just fell out, I don't really know what happened. A lot of people come around and keep you stagnant, distraction. So yeah, don't show them no compassion. We was really out here grinding, really rapping, stacking them Franklins, them Grants and them Jacksons. Imagine if we would've never chased our passion, we probably would've never knew what happened. They was all just talk, we showed action. Once they leave, don't you let them back in. Just pack up all their stuff and send them packing. I'm blacking on anybody thinking they could act up with me. This vibe ain't for free, cause where I'm at in life, I'm only focused on me. Note the self, know yourself, focus on your health. They don't wanna help, then fuck it, do it by yourself. Don't give them no excuse to put you on the shelf. If it's me, myself, and I, then it's no one else. Yeah. Self-love is the best love. It's the people who always give that never get love. They ain't real enough to probably say they messed up. Just let it go and make the best of it. Yeah, self-love is the best love. It's the people who always give that never get love. They ain't real enough to probably say they messed up. Just let it go and make the best of it. Love yourself.
Yeah, practice what you preaching, but clearly they not practicing entitlement and pride. Yeah, those two things they factor in. Spiral out of control just from all the bantering. When they accustomed to talking behind your back with all that chattering, I remove myself before I abuse myself. Talk about self-love, but you gotta do it yourself. Yeah, I won't act too good for no help. We all healing now. Said some things about me that ain't true. How you feeling now? Even at my lowest, they tried to find a way to bring me down. Big y'all up for years, ain't talking just the brand or the sound. I don't throw things around, I do it from the heart proud. Mama just wanna see her sunshine, removing them dark clouds.
Yeah, self-love is the best love. It's the people who always give that never get love. They ain't real enough to probably say they messed up. Just let it go and make the best of it. Yeah, self-love is the best love. It's the people who always give that never get love. They ain't real enough to probably say they messed up. Just let it go and make the best of it. Love yourself.
slowly. So we already in too deep. Can't get no sleep on each other. Heavy teasing all day, and when the sun sets, you asking me to come through, kick it with you. Night turn to morning dew. Then you feel it rushing in, lose control. You don't wanna go slow, for sure. We both already know your place is my place. No, my place is your place. Let's face it, baby, you know all the places. My place is your place. My place, your place is my place. Just face it, no one knows my places like you do.
Hey y'all, I said, you know what? I'm just gonna go live until Smoke go live. What's good, everybody? Hey now, Hurricane, Lady Moon, Curious. Hey, Godspeed, text us. You better be good, text us. Right, Woody, Carlos, hey love, Bronx Flat Power, Clay Gray, what's good, y'all? I figured I'd just go live and keep it moving. It's open topics today. The panel is certainly open. I hope Dane pop up on the panel. That'll be great. Let me put this in the chat. This is straight up open topics. Root word, your butt is not blocked, so stop your madness. Let me see. Hey Shay P, beautiful. How you been? Selling hope. Lady Moon. Hey boo boo. Girl, I ran down the street. Cause y'all know I go to bed like 8. I get in the bed like 8 o'clock. And Smoke comes on live. Hey Bucky. Smoke be coming on live. And I get in the bed and I watch him until I fall asleep. But I'm gonna pin that to the top in case anybody want to come on. So why is this like this? I wonder what this is. Yeah, that's my stuff right there. So, So everybody, I'm telling you, y'all don't be believing me when I tell y'all that Congress be watching my channel. I keep telling y'all that I was a hardcore Twitter king. I was like so obsessed with Twitter. And you can go look this up on my Twitter page. I've been on Twitter since 2011. And I was just all about politics. Real hardcore Democrat. Of course, I'm not one anymore. And I'm going to show you how I know that they're watching my channel and that Congress is watching and they're not commenting. And that's okay, because one day one of them are going to get just bold enough and come up here. See, I don't care about race. That's not me. But I'm going to pull this up because I was cracking up. I showed Willie. Well, let me see. Where is it? Is this it? Oh, here it is right here. I'm going to pull this up. Now, y'all know that I'm the only damn one in YouTube, literally, basically, within our community anyway, that talks about the generational breakdowns. Y'all know I always pull up the generational breakdown. And, it strikes interest. These things really strike an interest to Congress. Y'all know I'm always doing this. Always. So I get an alert and look, this is how I know they're all watching my channel, and they do. And it's always their way of letting me know that they are watching. Because look, let me take this off. people born between 1954 and 1965 are thrilled to learn they're not boomers. Yes, they are. But Jen Jones. So they gave it a whole. They're giving themselves a whole different um generational name. But what they are is they're the younger boomers. They don't want to be boomers. So now the younger boomers is calling themselves Jen Jones. So look, they watching it. Silent generation. Now y'all know I go through this. Silent generation, baby boomers, Gen X, Gen Z, Alpha. Don't even hit it. This just came out. Let me see. What's the date of this article? And they be watching. What is the date? It was I think it's the 6th. I was like, well, I'll be damned. Because we were talking about this. The date is August 6th. Today is only the 9th. And I'm like, well, I'll be damned. And I showed Willie. He was like, wow. And hold up. Before I even do that, I'm going to show you again. Because I talk about the silent generation, boomer, Gen X, millennials, Gen Z, Alpha. And after Alpha is beta. And so I was just like really surprised. So I know my colleagues are watching. But anyway, they're going into, and these are the faces they throw up there because they're boomers, but they're the younger boomers. You have your older boomers and you have your younger boomers. And the younger boomers are those born 1954, but between 1954 all the way up to 1965. So now I could tease my sister and say, you're a boomer. They're young. These are what you call younger boomers. My mom is an older boomer because she's in her 70s. But these people are in their mid to early 60s. The Jen Jones. They're changing it. They're giving the younger boomers a different name. But y'all know the silent generation. I just read that to you. The baby boomers, Gen X, millennials. That's me. Then you got Gen Z. Okay, they done skip the Y generation. They're missing one. They're millennials. Okay, they put millennials there, but millennial is Y, the Y Gen Y, and then because after the millennials come Gen Z, and then Gen Alpha. So social science and pop culture commenters have spent decades grouping and analyzing the different generations, assigning various qualities, habits, and tendencies to each age group. But some people don't identify with their generation, or at least these particular categories of them. Those on the cusp up between two generations feel like neither aligns who they are. And I get it. A lot of people that's like in their early 60s, they're like, look, I ain't over the hill. And I get that for wanting, to put a clamp on it because they're not in nursing homes or going to play bingo, like what the much elderly generation does. But it's a good read. I didn't drag you in here to talk about this, but I certainly wanted you to know that I keep telling y'all think because I have all these people watching. That's them. They are watching. And, one day I know in my heart that they're going to eventually step to my panel, and it'll be all professionalism because people really have to fill you out before they, that's how politicians are. And I don't care what their race is. I don't give a damn. I am multicultural, and I like the vibe with politicians. It's really cool. It is. But anyway, Smoke is going, hey, Empress God is beautiful. You can hit the link, baby. If you want, it's up there for anybody. It's open topics. Smoke's going live at 7. So I'm going to try to hold it down at least for 2:30. Okay, 4, 5, till 6 or until 6 because I want to, take another shower and get myself comfortable and lay back and relax because his topic is going to be funny. And I already know it because his topic. Let me go and get his link. I love watching Smoke Channel. It's a lot of fun, and he's really a great moderator. He let him argue, but then he calms it down. The shit be so funny. Let me see. Copy. I was trying to get Hawk School asked to go live, but he wouldn't go live. I guess he's doing something. Got to do some other things with the family, but this is Smoke Signals live stream. So click it and hit the subscribe button and hit the bell. That's Smoke Signals live stream. He's going live at 7 my time. So he's going live at 6 Central Time. So if you in the Midwest, it's 6 o'clock that he's going live and 7 o'clock Eastern Time, my time. So I'm going to leave out of here at least by 6 so I could shower, change my clothes again, shower again, and get comfortable. And I ran out. I got my coffee and my wine because I want to have fun. It's Friday and I want to have fun. I was talking about, the different roles in life, y'all. And I was keeping it a buck, okay, Texas. Hey guy, Golden Jagger, hey, Conwolf, hey. Yeah, I ran down the street. Hey, old dude, what's up, y'all? And I'm keeping it a buck. Life is changing. So a lot of people in my era, Gen X, we're between the age we were born, Gen X. Let me put this damn thing up because now I'm getting old and I don't remember the damn breakdown. I'm Gen X, okay? So that's anywhere between being born between 1965 and 83, okay? You are a Generation X baby. And we are at the forefront, us Gen X, because we're getting ready to, turn the baton over to our babies, who's the Y generation, the millennials, and Gen Z is just straight up, digital. They don't see nothing else but digital stuff. So the world is changing. The way of life is changing. So to a lot of our people in my generation, because the world is changing so fast. So being an X generation person, things appear to a lot of our people like we're getting ready to go into like a dictatorship like China. That ain't going down. That's not. I can tell you and put my life on it that our country, these 50 states where this is our mainland, I don't believe that we're going into a dictatorship society because of how our people are and how people are in general here within the boundaries of the 50 states. They're not having it. We've been here and always been here. Okay, we've always been here as a people. But then you have everyone that has come here and set up the 50 states to where it grew from 13 plantations to 50 states, and us passing laws, which gives us all our rights, our speech, everything. We could say things to our leaders that in other countries they can't say, like saying things like Donald Trump, and I love Donald Trump. I'm still voting for him. I don't care when nobody says I'm voting for him. But hey, Smokers Lounge. Hey, Yellow Hammer Swakey. Hey, Beverly. We can say things about our leaders where in other countries you can't. So we have our freedom of speech, but they're trying to mess with it, but it's just not going to go down because them, the colonizers coming here in the 1600s established a lot of these laws. We did too. And we're very accustomed to being the way we are. And we're not good. It's just not going to happen. This will not be a dictatorship, communist country because of how we are as a people and how other people are. Europeans, white Europeans are not allowing you to take their freedom. It's not going down. That's why they stand on bearing arms. And that's a fact. One thing I can truly say about white Europeans, when I say Europeans, British, former British subjects, you're not taking away their freedom. It ain't going down because they were already indentured servants and slaves, and they came over here for a better life and to be able to practice their religions. So for this country to become a communist country, it's not going down. Europeans ain't having it, and neither is Pookie and Ray Ray. We're always going to be able to voice our opinions that this country will go to World War III if they even think about trying to take away our rights. It's not going down. Pookie, Ray Ray, Little Man, Billy Bob Thornton, all the Europeans, the Italians, and look, it's not going down. It's not. And I'm standing on that. That's why we are such a powerful country. Even though even though we're diverse, we all the one understanding we have is our rights, our birthrights, our born rights, our freedom of press, freedom, all of our Bill of Rights, everything. Ain't no way this will become a communist country. It won't go down. It will be a war, and we will win because we're winners. So that being said, now one of the issues, and I started this conversation on BAP's channel. I've been lately reading other people's cultures so you can better understand people. And it's not that they're being offensive. Some of them can be, but Middle Eastern, they have a very different culture than ours. They do. And they really hate our men here, a lot of foreigners, because our men put us women on pedestals. When we are not like other countries where the woman stands behind in old fashioned. Not here in America. I'm too accustomed to having my freedom. Okay, we have choices. In other countries, I don't know. I mean, it's what you're accustomed to. In other countries, they have a lot of arranged marriages. Now, I'm hearing, I have conversations with Willie at night, and I'm hearing gossip that people that are Masons here, no matter what the race is, that they do a lot of arranged marriage, kids from birth. Is that true, y'all? Or is that just gossip? They're saying people that are Masonics. Is that true? That Masons, that do this stuff, the signs, that they have arranged marriages? If so, I'm very shocked. See, I didn't know that existed. They do. Okay. So Willie know what he's talking about. I did not know that. I didn't think that existed over here, arranged marriages. I mean, minus, the foreigners that do come over here. We know that that's something common in other cultures and countries. But I didn't know that. See, this is stuff that's hasn't been leaked out of Masonics. They're so secretive. I don't know. Black Masons don't do well. I'm hearing differently, Golden Jagger. I'm hearing differently. I'm hearing differently that I'm hearing that they do or have arranged marriages, like from when they're little kids, 2 and 3 years old. They plan it, and that child grows up knowing that they're going to marry somebody. And I'm not. It ain't no color thing from what I'm hearing, Golden Jagger. But I'm hearing a lot different that there are black arranged marriages. Now, if you really look at our history, our fathers sold their daughters, and women sold their husbands. And I pulled up the proof. Our people did sell their family. Indians, enslaved Indians, and Indians owned Indians. See, today we use different terminology. When our parents back in those days got married as Indians, he owned his wife and his children. And in some instances, it was the other way around too. And I pulled this up. You can't make this up. I pulled the articles up where and I'm talking about Aboriginal Indians to the Americas. They literally sold their husbands when they didn't want them no more. And that's like crazy to me. So our custom is pretty weird too. We can't talk about other people's cultures. I mean, because down south, it gotta be true, y'all. Because down south, fathers sold their daughters. That's why you seeing so many young girls that's like 12 and 13 and 14 with these old ass men on the census seat. That's their husbands. And that's just like crazy to me. I'm so glad I wasn't born in them days. I just can't see this old ass man in their 30s and 40s with my 14, 15-year-old child. See, again, we're in another era. We're in another era where I can't even stomach that. I can't. It had to be a law passed. This is how you know it's true, because they had to pass a law determining what is the age of an adult. So obviously it was true, and it wasn't like it was just us. It was Europeans doing it too when they was here, marrying these 12 and 13 and 14-year-old girls, okay, and them having all them damn 16 kids and 20 kids. They start them young. And this is how you know it's true, because we had to pass laws to establish the age of an adult. And I get so confused sometimes until you really look at some instances. You're 18, you're an adult. Some instances you're 21, which is like really weird. You can't purchase cigarettes or you can't drink alcohol or whatever when you're 18, but you can when you're 21. But they can draft you in the army. So it's like really weird. They can draft you in the army at 18, but you can't drink and buy alcohol at 18. You gotta be 21. So shit gotta be fixed. But what I don't like is, and I'm gonna say this, and I'm not being mean, it's just that some laws that they have passed, I understand families having children that begin to understand their sexualities at very young ages. A lot of people, and this is so touchy. A lot of people Um, I've read articles where a lot of people have these children and they're born with two sexes. They're called hermaphrodites. And the what happens is the parent pick at birth, the parent, I really think the parent shouldn't touch that baby and let that baby decide until they're adults. They need to pass a law for that because parents are making that determination at birth. Oh no, if it's a penis and there's a vagina, cut off the penis. But now the child grows up and he or she has hair on the face, and now you cut the child's, major component off. And I just think that should be something decided by the child, because by that age, I mean, literally, when you're in little school, you already know what sex you want to be, and that should not be. The United States need to take away that right from the parent, because that child's going to grow up, and those parents could make huge mistakes, because even though the child is a hermaphrodite, okay, the child might grow up. By the time they're like 11 or 8 or 9, they start growing boobs. And the child may be indeed very feminine girl. Now you done decided to take away her ovaries, and it's some shit. And I really think the United States need to put a hamper on that. They need to put a hamper on that. Seriously. Because you mess up your child's life. You need to let that child grow up, and until they're mature, to find out what, how they want to identify. Because it's wrong. And I'm reading too many cases where children have written articles, young women and men, who are angry with their parents for doing that to them. So United States need to put a hamper on that and put down that a decision cannot be made until the child is 16 at least, because by that age, even before that, the child already determines what sexuality they want to be. By the time they're 5, you already know it because you see it. Their interest shows you. And I think parents need to leave kids alone. That really, really, seriously. So why, and that's crazy. Why would they want tampons in the boys' bathroom? Is it because the girl still gets her period and she has not had a sex change? That's wrong. I mean, but see, these things go down and we don't fight. We don't fight. We have to stand up to this. And we're not standing up. We're just letting it happen. I don't care about who sleeps in whose bed. That's not the point I'm making. I don't care. But there are things that we need to stand up for. Like there's what's going on in the schools. I don't think our children should be forced to take such courses. I don't. I think it's wrong. And another thing, it's not these courses that they're given in school and they're being forced to take is interfering with our religious and cultural beliefs. So how do we fight that? We as the people got to stand up. Now, we all know that we have loved ones in our family, who desire same sex. That's fine. But we have to come to a better understanding, because the way that they're doing in school and it is teaching against our cultural and religious beliefs. They're trying to make this seem as though it's normal versus abnormal versus natural. It's like natural versus unnatural. So I don't know. You got to stand up. If this is the case, then I say, and you don't want your children to grow up psychologically thinking that it's very normal and natural, because it's not. Now, if someone's gay, so be it. Nothing against that. Completely. Nothing against it. But what I'm saying is the part to tell a straight child whose family is raising them to be straight children, heterosexuals, to teach them that they have an option to have a boy or a girl. That's wrong. I think that's wrong. I do. I think that's wrong. That's what I think is wrong. And the line should be drawn. Now, if there's a kid that have same-sex, preference, that's fine. But I don't think that the school systems should be imposing things on heterosexual children. I don't. But who am I? It must be a collective effort to come to some kind of understanding. Okay. Now I don't know if we could impose something that where our child is not allowed to take specific courses, make those electives in school, and the child can opt out of having to take those courses and be taught that. Because if you're teaching, when you start teaching about sexuality in the school, you begin to interfere with one's religious beliefs and culture. And that's, you're not supposed to mix church with state. And to me, that has been invaded. Our religious and cultural beliefs have been invaded. Now, we're not saying that life shouldn't go on as it should, but a compromise needs to be made with parents. All right, we can elect our children out of and engaging in those particular programs in school. It's wrong to enforce. That's just like me. If you're a Jewish person, right? It wouldn't be fair to me if I impose Christianity on you as a Jewish person, knowing that you don't believe in Christ as Lord and Savior and only begotten Son and da. That would be wrong for me to do to a Jewish child. That's imposing. That's wrong. Same scenario with this whole thing about, sex, period, point blank. So you have to look at it okay, are we harming families and interfering with their cultural and religious beliefs? Well, imposing curriculums on our children, they are. And I mean, give me a 1 if I'm right. So they need to, in the educational system, come up with something where our children can elect out of participating, or maybe just don't go to school on those days when they're teaching that class. Maybe they could work from home using their laptops where they don't have to participate and see it. Because I don't like the idea of the school having, ain't none yet, hit the link, love. I don't like the idea of the school having psych control over my child. You want my child to view something as normal and okay. Whereas you came over here on our land and enforced what do you call it? Enforced Christianity, the doctrine of discovery on our people. And now The doctrine of discovery totally taught against it. And now you want to come in office and make some adjustments and exceptions. No, you're now adding fuel to the fire. Thank goodness that we all have options to practice our own religions here. But now you're imposing stuff that's just like not right. I mean, I think I'm not saying that children that want to change their sex should have be treated bad, because no one should be treated bad. But what I'm saying is there should be some type of compromise, whereas when you're teaching such in the school system, maybe you can make it a last period class, and that period children can opt out to leave and do their last period class from home, so they don't have to visually see. And it begins, our children come home and have questions for us. So I think it should be some kind of compromise. Right, Joe. I don't think they should be discussing that. Although a lot of children today see things at home. Some children today, and it's true, a lot of children across our 50 states have two mommies and not two daddies, not mommy and daddy. So a lot of children today, especially millennial children, into the future generations, millennial generation, and which is the Y generation, and the Z generation, are being raised in same-sex households. So it's already normal for them. But what's normal for them is not normal for the child that grew up in the heterosexual home. So it needs to be, I'm not saying treat those children bad, because no, you should not. I'm not promoting that. But there needs to be some type of different compromise out of respect for one's cultural and religious belief, because it does interfere and impose on one's, religious beliefs. We all have same-sex people in our families. A lot of them are still under the radar, down low, because of the treatment from their own blood family members who don't agree with it. That still goes on. That's been going on forever. Like my grandmother, she was very homophobic, and my aunt was a dyke. And my grandmother, being born in 1931, they wasn't having it. They're very old-fashioned. That shit just did not exist. And if it did, it was well hidden. 1930s, it existed, but it was just crucified. Oh, hey. Hey, how are you? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Ooh,
Oh, I'm
yeah,
sorry. Hold up.
great. No, it sounds great.
Hold on. All my stuff cutting on.
Yeah, I can hear you real good. I'm about to do this while I talk. But I just I've been talking about, and I'm only gonna be on here till like 6. About how, and I don't care. Are you there, Dane, or you still connected?
Everything's still cutting on, but you can probably still hear me though.
Yeah, I can hear you. Well, I was talking about, and we should be able to speak about this open publicly, because we're not saying anything bad. But I don't, like I said, we all have loved ones in our families that same sex, or either married same sex, and that's cool and stuff. But I'm just saying that there should be a compromise, because the Constitution does say that you can't mix church and state. And you're not supposed to. You talking to me?
Wait, I mean, yeah, because I'm confused. You said, what about the same-sex marriage? Say it again.
I said a lot of us, and a lot of us, not saying you or anybody else, but a lot of us have same-sex couples in our families.
Okay.
And I know I do. I have a ton of them. And some of them are even married, legally married. But what I'm saying is, I'm not speaking against it at all.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm saying is that in school, the curriculum on that they're implementing, it imposes on our cultural and religious beliefs.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's the school teaching about, the same-sex lifestyle. And I think that's something that families should, mom and dad should have say so over that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that they need to have like an elective where children can elect to have that class or opt out.
So they have a specific class for that now? Or is it like...
Oh gosh, yeah, they teach about
what is it in the gym class?
It's in the curriculum. It's in the curriculum. And it's very they're teaching the children that it's natural and normal. I don't know even anymore what is natural. You know what I mean? It's like so that there's no division between a person who likes a little girl who likes another little girl,
right,
and a little boy that likes another little boy. They're teaching that it's okay.
What is the point of teaching that?
I don't know.
That it's okay, but I mean that should be a conversation that those individual children should be having with their parents. That shouldn't be taught inside of a school. Like, I mean, they have all right to marry whoever they want to marry, like whoever they want to like, but I don't think that should be a curriculum taught in school. Yeah.
Right. And it's implemented, and they teach how same-sex couples have sex.
Nah, that shouldn't happen. That shouldn't happen at all. Not in any classroom. I mean, and that's another thing, they should be sued for that. That should be something that everybody has to agree upon. But also they were indicating that they were giving the children vaccines without the parents' permissions as well.
Yes. I was like, what? Yes. Yeah. Yes.
They're doing a lot of things without the parents knowing. The parents need to be more involved with their children's school to see what's going on. Yeah. A lot of these children are not agreeing with a lot of things that's happening. It's not like the students want it. It's whoever, superintendent is overseeing, and that school board that's overseeing that particular school's curriculum and what type of education they want to give them. To me, it's not necessary for them to be educated in that realm. Why is sexuality being promoted inside of a school?
Correct.
That should not be a topic.
A lot of that comes from children. And I remember this in my day. You always knew who the boy was that act like a girl because he only wanted to hang with the girls. He never wanted to be with the boys. His preference was to be at the lunch table with a group of girls. And I understand that. But cool. In school, they were the ones who got picked on by everybody. And a lot of this
bullying.
Right.
That's not how you stop bullying. That's not how to do it. To teach them what? That they have an excuse to be. Nah. That's not the school's job to do that. That would be the parents' job. See, and my wife and I have been exposing that the school is becoming the children's new alpha in their family. Yeah. Unfortunately, that's how it's designed. It's there to take the place of the mother and the father, no matter what those parents may feel. Especially nowadays when you see stuff like that. people of those type of communities have more rights than so-called blacks as well. They were handing them left and right a whole bunch of civil rights. Quiet as kept. And I said, is that ever going to be a problem with us? Like, notice how fast they were moving and things got done for them. But yeah, I don't think that should be implemented inside of a school. And it's unfortunate that I think, if I'm not mistaken, I believe Trump was against that. Against that type of curriculum being inside of the schools. I thought he was.
Yeah, he is against it.
Yeah.
In fact, I did look at the 2025. A lot of Republicans were. Yeah, did you see any highlights of the 2025 plan? Because
Absolutely.
in it was getting. Oh,
I purchased it.
Okay, so
got it ordered. You had to order it and get it sent to the house.
I was looking at some of the bullets in it, and I thought that I saw where they said close the Department of dismantle the Department of Education or something to that perspective.
Yeah, but I don't think Trump would do that. But keep in mind, the Project 2025 has all to do with the Heritage Foundation, not Donald Trump directly, even though he has worked with them before. But Project 2025 is a group of Republicans that got together that, created that plan. Not all things are going to go to that extreme. A lot of things were extreme that they were, showcasing or asking for or proposing rather. But yeah, I don't think it's going to, get to the point where it's going to be a shutdown of the education system. If anything, it needs to be a revamp. Certain things have to be eliminated. School is being overran by people's political views.
Yes.
And it shouldn't be. Like, you shouldn't mix education with politics.
Correct.
That's the problem that's going on right now, that the parents need to step up and do something about it. They could bring it to their local municipalities and say, hey, or whatever, they're politicians, whoever. Look, this is a problem, my children are coming home saying this, da-da-da-da-da. They need to do it that way to showcase that it is an issue. But then again, that's why Republicans, I saw them. They were straight up saying, do away with it. But I disagree with doing away with the whole thing. If anything, just get rid of particular things that's affecting the children, sexually, mentally. And because they're going to grow up thinking that's the right thing to do. That's indoctrination. They need to, a whole rack of stuff needs to be revamped as far as the educational system is concerned. History. I've been fighting for that for the longest. History is the number one. Like when I saw the guy, the governor in Florida, not Newsom, what's the other guy? The governor in Florida do away with the Afro-American studies. I was like,
yes,
good.
Yes, me too.
I was very thankful for that. People disagreed that I was happy about that, but I was very happy about that because they're number one. Actually, it started in California, Afro-American Studies. I did a whole documentary about that, but that was starting that movement with the out of Africa theory for sure to be implemented inside of curriculums, universities and colleges up to that point. And then it trickled down to the middle schools and elementary schools. That curriculum needs to go. It needs to go. Why is it only one or two companies creating these books for the curriculums that they present throughout these schools? McGrill, what's his name? McHall. I forgot what it was. I forgot the guy's. I did a doc on that too, but yeah, it's been so long. They've been out there since I've been in school. As far as putting out the books, it's time. It's time for a change with all of it. I think it would be best for our people to understand that it's the children's best interest to be taught what should be the truth, not based off of somebody else's opinion or not, being politically driven. I don't think it should go that route. So do I agree with the Republicans stating to get rid of the entire school system? No, I just think it should be revamped. Correct. Top to bottom. If anything, if they said revamp it from top to bottom, then I agree with that. But do away with it. I wouldn't say get rid of it.
Right. like I said, there needs to be some better compromising made, because what I don't want is to get into a situation where a child
Make
is
brawl.
suffering at
He's right.
night. Yeah, suffering at night, not feeling able to be a part of his colleagues because of his personal choices in sexuality. I don't want that. What I do want is the option that they give our sons. I mean, like, I know, I mean, like, what would you say if your 5-year-old came home and said, I don't want no girlfriend, I want a boyfriend? And
That's
that's out of
horrible.
anger. Yeah, that's out of anger. And you have these curriculums that are giving them an option to have a choice, but saying it's okay. But what if that child's just out of anger? I want to make sure that's you, cut. Is that you, cut?
In the flesh.
Oh, okay. I want to make sure it's you. I was just holding it down because nobody was live until Smoke go live, and you were nowhere to be found. So
I've been at the school. I had to hang doors and soundproofing in the studios and stuff. But I seen you guys was live, and I want to sincerely say thank you very much, Sister Bethy, and thank you very much, Dan Calloway, for letting me use a little bit of your footage. Man, you do phenomenal work, and I did not want to use it without at least getting some kind of permission, man.
There's no problem.
so Dane,
Not a
this
problem
is
at all.
Cuddy. This is DJ Cuddy. He does
The DJ was telling me about.
yeah,
What's
and
going on, brother? How you?
Been all right, man. We've been on a couple panels, Brother Sanchez panel a couple times. What was that, A1's channel, or Top Cat, or A1's? But yeah, man, I don't do too much, man. I just stay in my lane, do my thing with my gods. And Sister Bethy.
He does. So he makes all those funny sounds. He's a DJ, one of the best DJs in YouTube. I gotta say, I haven't seen any greater DJs. He's awesome.
Thank you.
So he asked me to ask you, could he listen to it because he really liked it. That was some fire information that you dropped.
Yeah,
I'm dropping more too. I'm about to get ready to start recording here in another probably less 30 minutes. I got to record. Yeah. I'm about to release some more tomorrow, take over the weekend, and then it's a couple of them I'm about to put out politically this week. I'm actually having fun doing this because people, are assuming that I'm with this person, that I'm with that person, and I'm not with either crowd. But I feel as though it's a great opportunity to teach them certain things that the news won't be able to, mention, or if they do mention it, focus or zone into that particular point, because it's very important for our people to understand where it's coming from, its background, where did it derive from, why is it so important, before they start making their votes, based on, or casting their votes based off of emotion. Right. I'm trying my hardest to do my part. I saw the last video did it did some numbers though. I'm not gonna say it went viral, but it was close. But
that's the one with that's the one with Kamala Harris, correct?
Yeah, the one with Kamala Harris did actually both of them. One at 90 something and the other one over 100K.
Wow.
And, yeah, that's why I was like, okay, well, it's working. Now they actually get to see both. So, and I'm doing both sides. I'm going Trump, Kamala. I'm going back and forth because there's so much more that I wanted to put out there. I didn't get a chance to put out there the last time we went to go vote 4 years ago. But yeah, I know tomorrow's video gonna hit too, because I've been working on it for a few days now, but this one, we'll see. We'll see. I hope people understand where I'm coming from on this note. And again, it's not to persuade or sway them in one direction or another direction. It's more so about educating them on which direction they would like to take after they know about this information.
That's good.
I'm just here to make people think. I'm not on either side. I'm not, and I don't want people to get that misconception. Even though they are in the comments stating that they don't.
You always
know.
said that though, but you always said that you always did say that you weren't Democrat, you
I'm
weren't
not that type.
Republican.
I'm just
Right.
not that type, especially when I know their history. And that's why I feel as though I'm obligated to teach that history the best way that I can, because it's like, especially now, it's affecting a lot of our people mentally. Like families are broken based off of
Yeah.
some political thought. And I'm like, no,
Yeah.
you're going backwards.
That's true.
That's not supposed to happen. You're going backwards. But that has to cease. The only way that can happen is if we step up and do our part. And I guess my part is this, like straight up just give them as much history as possible, even though it is current. Keeping it current, of course, it's still current. But also let them know what happened. The refresher. Man,
Right.
that thing that really hit home especially that Kamala one. Man, those comments, I think it's over 2,500 comments right now.
Yeah,
But-
everybody was going in on that.
Man, those comments, I was
going
like,
in.
damn.
Yeah, I really liked it. I watched it, man, and I was like, oh, well, what I do is I do a Sunday morning where I just get on the turntables and I snatch videos and different shit. And I do what's called the Sunday scratch, where I just cut and scratch videos up. And that's what I did with the Kamala Harris. And
Yeah, you scratched it up
You
too.
mean like
Cuddy.
on the turntables?
yeah, you know
Oh,
what I'm
that's
saying?
funny.
You know what I'm
So
saying?
like, so like you reversing it back and spinning it, like scratching it back,
All
like
of that.
a DJ would do. Okay, that's
All
tight.
of that. So I'm already gonna go ahead and ask for permission for this next video for the next Sunday
Do your
scratch.
thing.
I like how he did it
Good
because he
thing.
kept making you repeat. He kept making your voice repeat what you said, repeat, and using the scratch. I thought that was was master. That was classic.
And like I said, it's an honor and a privilege. I appreciate each and every one of you guys. I stand on y'all shoulders, and that's a whole fact.
Man.
Yep.
But yeah, brother, you definitely got my permission. Do what you do, brother. That's even if they hear it that way, I mean, maybe they do need to hear it repeated. Why, why not? And sometimes I do it myself in my editing. I repeat something.
Yeah.
Make something echo like it's in an echo chamber. I'll do all of that.
You know what I'm
But,
saying?
And hearing live is boss because he's doing it literally right there while we live. And
You
Mix
got to
it
set up with somebody that can see your mix board.
Well, nah, I don't do it like that. You know what I'm saying? What I do is I just show the video with the
You
vision.
used to.
But
you
what
used
I
to
do,
let us do.
what I normally do, I do a lot of video. When I do show myself, I do show graphics and stuff like that, green screen in the front and back, overlays and things like that. I like
Okay.
liquor store fronts, you know what I'm saying? I'll be DJing at the liquor store, you know what I'm saying? DJing at the bodega, you know what I'm saying? Or, I'm in Kansas City, so, I might be DJing in the middle of Arrowhead.
So
I
different
don't know why I
overlays.
thought you was in St. Louis.
I'm in Kansas City.
Were you born in St. Louis?
No, man. I was born in Louisville, Kentucky.
Oh my goodness, I thought you were from St. Louis this
Oh,
whole
no.
time.
No, ma'am. I'm schooling them from there, though.
Now I know Hawk School's from there, but I thought you were too.
But we still show me in Kansas, man. Kansas, Missouri, Illinois, Oklahoma, stomping grounds.
So yeah, I was getting in on this. You know what? You used the right word usage, Dane, when you said that a lot of these laws are being passed based on emotions and they're not thinking straight. That's the same thing with the gun laws in every state. Why do you think you're going to unarm people? To me, that's insane. It's not going to happen. We have a right to bear arms. And to pass a law based on emotions because of a horrific crime, look, we didn't do it, so why do you want to unarm us? We're innocent to what's going on in society. You're not going to unarm me.
There's a take on that note that I like that came from Ice-T that I saw not too long ago. Where Ice-T was like, I'll put my gun up when you put yours up.
There you go.
That be the time that
That's
I'll
right.
put my gun up. When I see that you put yours up, I'll put mine up. Otherwise, I got the right to bear arms. And so do you. So
I
until
hope
they do away
You
with
say
that,
you put it up, you're just going to put it in the closet for a few minutes.
I put it in the holster.
There you go.
Hey, I agree with that wholeheartedly. But when they put their gun up, I ain't believing nothing.
Facts. Don't
You know what
ever.
I'm saying? And I won't be budging either. See, out here where I'm at, it's open carry anyway. So it's like everybody's strapped. I think that's best anyway because you got the right to bear arms. That's supposed to be the last defense. You know, historically, that is the last defense.
That's a
Defensive
fact.
mechanism that you could use. You got the right to bear arms, hands down.
That's
They
right.
can't take that from you.
That's
You're
a
not
fact.
unarming no Europeans. They stand on that shit. White people are serious when it comes to the Second Amendment. You go down when you start messing with Second Amendment. You want to see white Europeans flip? Start messing with that Second Amendment. It's over. They're not having it. They arm even more, and they go get more ammunition every time you say unarmed.
Yeah.
They go buy out all the stores. At least here in Connecticut, they don't play that shit. In Connecticut, the minute they start talking about Second Amendment, all white people, I am not lying, they go in the store and buy up all the guns and all the ammunition. They don't play in Connecticut. Yankees and not in Connecticut. You're not unarming nobody in Connecticut, including me.
I'm in
And
the
I'm
wild.
right there with him. I'm right there with him.
I'm in what we call Killer City, you know what I'm saying? We call it No Coast, you know what I'm saying? The wild Midwest. And I'm telling you, it's open carry. And I tell you what, it kind of keeps people in line, you know what I'm saying? That's why I be like these democratic cities and stuff where you can't do this and you can't have that. That's why you got a lot of foolishness going on. But around here, man, the old white lady at the grocery store knock you down behind your foolishness.
They be carrying that.
True.
See, I've never seen that. I got to go to a state. I've been so sheltered in Connecticut, and I have yet to see somebody with an open carry. I got to go like to Texas and
North
where
Carolina,
you are.
South Carolina, you go anywhere.
Oh, they have open carry in North Carolina?
Yeah, I was open carry in North Carolina. When I was in
Oh,
North
my
Carolina, it
goodness.
was open carry.
See, I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah.
That would freak me out, just seeing people walk in the
It's
grocery
open
store
carry in
and they got
Georgia.
their weapon. That's cool.
And you
It's
know
open
what?
carry in a lot of places. It's just that you got to have a license to carry certain pistols, like certain pistol grips.
Now check this out. You said it'll freak you out to see that. Now you think what the criminal think when he say, "Oh snap, that old man got a Colt 45 on his hip." Oh snap! See, people pause, and you need people to have that pause just to think for a second.
Yeah.
Yep. That's
You're
why
right.
I think that would stop a lot of crime. Like, for example, if it was like from where I'm from in DC, I think what it is if it is open carry, based off of what I've been through as far as different states I've been in, I was thinking if, DC went open carry, I mean, they could slap a license on having a pistol grip, and they could keep that. In fact, that's already implemented in DC, but let it be open carry in DC. I think a lot of that crime will stop because everybody would be
Okay, I
strapped.
see you.
Huh?
No, I was telling Alibaba I see him. So, dang, Cuddy, let me ask y'all this about the open carry. So, say like, all right, we know the Wild Wild West. That's why they call it the Wild Wild West, because it's always been open carry, right? So,
Not just the West. It's
but
open
I mean,
carry on the
I
East.
didn't know that. I didn't know that. I didn't know that we had open carry states. That's how sheltered I am in Connecticut. It's not open carry in Connecticut. But say like you're driving from North Carolina, right? And you left home with your gun on you, and then you reach like New York and Philly. Do you have to put your gun away, or you go to jail because you're in another state? Or I mean, are you excused? Excused?
You want to take that one first, Dane? I'll let you do the honor, my brother.
It depends on like
Shout
when
out to
I'm
you, Alabama.
traveling. It depends on where I'm going. Like you'll be able to get checked to see what type of license you have, to see if you're able to carry in certain other states. If you're certified in other states, then you can carry. But some states are very strict. New York is strict. As far as the gun laws are concerned, what I say, bring your guns with you. I mean, leave it at the hotel if need be. Check and make sure, hey, can you bring this? Here go your license. You can check and make sure. But you just gotta be, you gotta be strategic on that note, because not all places are going to allow you to carry that same license over. Depending if you got again, it depends on what type of permit you got.
So you mean to tell me, like, if you leave North Carolina, right, and you got your open carry, and you get to like somewhere like New York, and they pull you over, for a ticket,
you could get in trouble.
Yep.
You could get in trouble.
But what if you tell them, look, I just came from North Carolina, and I have.
Let me step in. Let me step in if you do not mind, because this is what I was going to go into. We all know ignorance is no excuse for the law, right? Right.
Okay.
So when you say, "Hey, I just left North Carolina," they're like, "Whatever you hear, let's get it going our way." But this is what I recommend to everybody when we get to talking about open carry, traveling with guns, and things like that. Man, go on YouTube and they show you how to pack your guns when you're flying, how to pack your guns when you're driving, whether you have a concealed carry license or not. You know what I'm saying? Whether you go to different states, where you come from one state to another state that doesn't that prohibits it. But number two, the most important thing I try to spread to everybody, there's a company called you. And see, this is not, they don't pay me. I pay them. You know what I'm saying? They don't pay me. I pay them. USCCA. And what these people do is it's like insurance for gun owners. If something happened, they got 24-hour support. They got lawyers on deck for you. And not only that, they have a map for it. Even if you don't even mess with them, you can go to USCCA and you can plot your course. What I do is I go to USCCA, I go to the map, and if I'm going to New York, I go and I check out the gun laws and what's permissible with my licenses and things of this nature. But you have to do that first. You have to check the information to where you're going and how you want to approach going there first.
You got to be ready.
So if you're flying from Kansas, where it's open carry, right, and you need to get to New York, you can pack your gun in your suitcase but you can't bring it on a plane. Right.
The gun got to be in its own case.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
And in the suitcase.
No, it's got to have its own gator case of its own with a lock on it. And then it's got to
they want the fingerprint one. They want the fingerprint one. I just did that. I just did that a few times. You got to have the fingerprint box, a lock box.
Yeah, I'm not trying to fly.
And it take a second. Like it's in order for you to grab it. But it depends on where you're going again, because you could land in New York and they'll hand it to you. Right, for example, inside the airport. As soon as you step outside, you got to be ready, because they could lock you up right then and there if you don't have the right permits.
That's a fact.
Oh my goodness, that's crazy. So
that's why I don't even go to New York or California. No need.
Yeah, they're gonna move that gun away from you. It's gonna fly with you, but it's just not gonna fly while you like on your hip. And that's why I said it's gonna take a second for you to get it, because it's not only do you got to get checked once, you got to get checked twice as soon as you come out. And don't let it be you got to transfer it to another plane. That's 3 times. It's a hassle. I'm gonna tell you that right now. It's a hassle traveling, and it got to be a pistol. It can't be no large gun. You ain't bringing no AR on the plane. That's out. That's why a lot of people.
The only way you can really get it from state to state, you drive.
A lot of people get tour buses and drive.
So like if you drive from Kansas to Connecticut and you reach Connecticut and you just happen to get pulled over because you ran a stop sign and they see your gun with it locked and all that, they can still arrest you.
No. They can
still arrest you if you don't have a permit. You gotta have a permit in that state.
It depends on what you're doing. If you got it in your pocket and it's concealed, yeah, you can get in trouble. But if you have it, like, say, for instance, under the seat, on the dash, or not even up on the dash, but just like in the car itself, then they can see it or they can't see it. They can be in the glove compartment. That's not considered concealed. It's in your car. Your car is now your castle. So castle laws
but
start
they can still
going
get
back.
them. They can still get them because it depends on that state. Like you talking Connecticut. If Connecticut laws are stating that you can't have, you know what I'm saying, a gun without a license, then you could definitely get in trouble.
That's crazy. How do you expect somebody to move from one state to the other if they want? What are they supposed to do with their gun?
Oh, hold up. Wait a minute. I'm thinking that there's confusion. See, carry concealed mean you have it on your person and no one knows that you have it. That's concealed. Now, when you're traveling in your car, that's not a concealed, that's not concealed carry unless you have it inside of your person and no one can see it. But when you're traveling with your car, you know what I'm saying? Some states make you have your gun in the glove compartment and the ammunition in the trunk. You got to check for that. You know what I'm saying? And you know what I'm saying? But any other time, if your gun's just in your car, they don't consider it a concealed weapon because your car becomes your castle, like your house.
So they won't bother you.
Yeah, because of castle law.
Okay.
But you just got to be careful. You just got to make sure that each state, you're able to have a gun. Like if you're able to have a gun in Connecticut, fine. Is it with a permit? Fine. What type of gun? Because then they're going to go down to pistol grip. Certain ARs that we have, like I can't bring to certain states. They got to have a special type of license, in order for that. That's usually going to be the military grade security, of that state. They got to be certified in that state. Like, for example, when my security rode with me, like when we got pulled over in Georgia, for example, I'm going to give you an example. We got pulled over because they thought our tents was too dark on all of our cars. The whole time we were strapped. Okay, at the same time. So they noticed, like when they started trying to say, hey, can y'all step out? We all stepped out and everybody was locked and loaded. But they couldn't say nothing because we could actually carry open like that in Georgia. They were just having a problem with the tent. Now we told them, hey, look, we not from here. Now that's when I'm not trying to say it don't apply because it depends on how that cop gonna act. But we told them, look, we got out of state tags. All these tags is Texas. Okay, so of course we could have. Texas even got laws on tent, but we got, special permission. But yeah, that tent dark, you can't see shit. So they couldn't really give us any trouble about that because we got out of state tags. We like, nah, we just in and out, we visiting. You know what I'm saying? It's nothing they could lock us up for. But yeah, we were. I'm talking about everything was out in the open where they could see us. Everybody had an AR on them. And a pistol. But that was in Georgia. Now, if we try that move in New York, all of us getting arrested. Unless we have a permit. You understand what I'm saying? A special type of permit. Like if you go on military grade, now you talking some money. Because that's like allowing you to have those guns any state you go to. And yeah, in certain cases, we could get away with that, because certain states are relaxed. Usually it's the South states that's relaxed on those guns. They start getting it tripping when they see that pistol and that pistol grip, and you got something else attached to that pistol grip. They're gonna be like, "Oh, this is modified." You know what I'm saying? Then they start tripping off the modification of it. But if you don't give them a hard time, you let them know, "Hey, nah, the clip is over here, the gun is right here. You should be straight." As long as, and they're gonna check your background because if you got something on you, like you got a felony or something like that, and you getting arrested, you got a warrant, you getting arrested. Because you ain't supposed to be carrying it at all. But if you legit, it should be it's going to be like 25, 30 minutes. But,
it's crazy.
It's going to be a process. But, yeah, you should be able to get out of there.
Yeah.
I need to go to one of those states just to see y'all walk around with guns where people could just see it. Now, that's going to freak me out. Because here
to Texas.
Oh, you going to jail. They're going to have a whole paddy wagon.
Nah.
And I'm noticing.
Not out here.
I'm noticing all these.
Yeah.
I'm talking about everybody and their grandmother strapped out here.
I'm trying to tell you, motherfuckers got guns in their ankles. Man, they got guns in their appendage. Motherfucker will pull out a deuce from his booty crack. I'm telling you.
I ain't gonna lie. That's why I love the Midwest and the South, because I mean, yeah, you know, we could do what we do, you know. We could do what we do. It's just that certain states in the South do. I mean, even Texas at one point, but he did away with that once them immigrants came across the border. You had to have because I remember that before I turned that license in, I had to have a license for the pistol grip. But the governor did away with that once them immigrants started coming in. And he was like, look, basically shoot first, ask questions later. Because people were getting their homes ran into by them, you know, by them immigrants. So he was like,
what state was this?
That's Texas.
Damn.
Oh
Texas.
yeah, man. Come on, man. You can't mess with Texas. Texas, boy. Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, Missouri, and Omaha. Man.
You better not play in Texas.
We would hear about Texas as little children. They always had. We was always known them for being the cowboy place, and
Sammy D.
is very real in Texas like that. Yep. Very real. They don't.
Everybody
play.
out here got weapons. It's about
the
they
women
got pistols.
and the men.
Yes, and children, and children. I take my children to the gun range all the time. We got, you know, pistols to automatics. We got that too. Like it's a bunch of it out, and you could get it, you know, at good price out here. There's a lot of gun stores out here. But I'm telling you, if I was to do that in DC, even though I have my license at DC, you got to have a license at DC for certain ones. But them ARs, they're going to have, you know, they're going to have an issue with that. Yeah. So that's why I bring security, you know what I'm saying? Because they got a special type of license to carry in different states, that type of weaponry. But it's out here, nah. You good.
Well, hey, I'm about to call my little man. I ain't going to put him on film or nothing. But I'm going to call my little man real quick.
Okay. Hey, Ali,
you about to get him to show his weapon?
No, man, no.
Oh, I was like, nah, not on YouTube, bro.
No,
like,
we ain't about to do none of that. We ain't about to do none of that. But what I am going to do is you'll be able to hear him break it down.
Oh, yeah.
You'll be able to hear him break it down.
And that's another thing with gun
young man,
if you
come
own
here.
a gun,
come here for a minute. Come here for a minute.
You know what I'm saying? You got to be educated on it.
Now, check this out. Young man, this arm, break this down, please. What? Yep.
He taking it apart.
There you go. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep. There you go. Push them down. Yep.
Wow.
There you go.
You got to know. And keep it clean.
Pick up, remember that. Go on in and get it now. Got a step.
Wow. Well, they teach their children here in Connecticut, especially in the suburbs. Like I tell you, in Connecticut, listen, Europeans do not play when it comes to their Second Amendment right, but that's across 50 states. But in Connecticut,
young man, take it down. Take it down.
They get crazy.
Take it down, all the way down.
You want to make Europeans pissed off?
Now, hey, Sister Betty, check this out. Young man, you didn't pull him down. How many pieces you got? You got 5 pieces? Yeah. All right. Thank you very much. Could you put my shit back together? All right, that's what it is.
Wow. I'd be scared to death.
Go
to let my grandkids with guns. I'm
to the training. Man, that's why I send my kids to training all the time. I think that's necessary. I think that's
Ali Bamu, are you there? Or are you in the
I'm trying not to interrupt the flow of the conversation.
Oh, I called you earlier. Hi.
Good afternoon, Queen Mother. Dane, my brother from another mother. DJ Cataculus.
What's going on?
I thank you both for that public service announcement, if you will, on gun safety. But I do, the question I have for all of you, not to divert the conversation, but I think it's very important because Cuddy does his thing as a man in hip hop, and you're in there too, Dane.
Good job, young man.
About They Not Like Us and that anthem that's being drawn out amongst the younger generation. I need to drop this on both of y'all, and you can respond however you choose. I know that you're probably familiar with Neely Fuller Jr., Dane, and Cuddy. He made a statement that I participated on his show this week, and I'm still kind of hotter than fish grease. And I respect my elder, but it's the issue of Black connotatively and in law. Now, I'm just going to say what his supposed quote is. I'm giving a variation of it, but I need y'all's response to that. He said that any man that's defined as a black male is considered a boy, and leaves, I'm saying, the Aboriginal woman defined as a black person unprotected. Now, what I attempted to do, and I've said this to you already, Cuddy, so again, respect to you as being born, Muskogee Creek. This man was born in the year and the month of the great stock market crash as a Muskogee Creek Indian. I asked him specifically about Viola Ford Fletcher at 110 and Leslie Benningfield Randall at 109. Were they left unprotected as survivors of the worst race massacre on record, with the Oklahoma Supreme Court ruling saying, oops, my bad, or what? So you brothers want to respond to that? And Chief Morning Thunder, I have another question directly for you as an Aboriginal woman. And Cuddy, not to spill the tea, he's supposed to be having boots on the ground for our elder women. So is the black man a boy, and does he leave the Aboriginal woman, who is quote unquote black, like Sonia Massey, unprotected? What say you, gentlemen?
Just left the school, man. Go ahead, Dang.
I'm still trying to, I would need to see what that individual person, I need to see the take on what they will feel as though the term black actually means. Like, what does it represent? Like, I would need more details.
Well, if we're talking specifically to Neely Fuller Jr., which I find interesting, he does not use that term. He says white, non-white, and white supremacists as the three categories that exist in the worldwide government system known as white supremacy. But,
so why was he using the term black right there?
Because of the people calling him and making references to black. But he always reverts back to there are only white, non-white, and white supremacists in this worldwide government known as white supremacy. And you probably, I know you hip to Frances Cress Welsing. She's in your backyard before she passed.
Yeah, I'm hip to her.
But I'm saying, here's my point, Dane. The issue is, and I'm not necessarily being in disagreement with him as someone who's 94 years old. Okay. The issue of any man being defined as a black male is considered a boy, which includes him and includes me at 65. And that we leave Aboriginal women defined as black people, like Sonia Massey,
vulnerable,
unprotected. You see what I'm saying?
I mean, Dane? I can see where the individual's going with that. I can see that. But as far as the boy connotation, I'm guessing that's probably his way of describing how the person won't exist to the government. That person will be looked at as property or a child by the government in that sense. That's the best way I could try to interpret that without more information from the individual on what they think black means, because I would need to know that. If they, can come out and say, all right, look, black is straight up this, and here's why, then I could say, I bet, and then I could go from there and see where they're coming from. But I mean, I could get, again, like based off of that little information, I can see why that person would say that. But are you stating, is it wrong, or is it like, where's the discrepancy?
Well, and again, you're coming from the East Coast, DC, but I know you got Southern background. And the belief that the quote unquote black male, no matter how old they are, that's just like the Aunt Jemima, the Uncle Ben's images, the way Shirley Temple treated Mr. Bill Bojangles, who was in his 80s. And he was subservient to this little white girl who was 5, 6 years old. You see what I'm saying?
Calling
that
them
type of boy concept.
I mean, is it racial? Yeah, it's still racial. I agree with that.
But I mean, do you think that applies today, Alabama? I mean, we're talking Shirley Temple when I was little, and even when I was little, that lifestyle was gone. I mean,
I'm gonna be real. Like, if that was,
I mean, do you think that exists today?
No, I'm pointing out the example, Dane, or for you even, Bessie, on what the boy concept is mentally,
Right.
regardless of whether we're in the 21st century. Now, the suggestion by Neely Full Jr., and this is what really perturbs me. So, Dane, you familiar with his book called The Code? Or
No,
these
I'm
other
not even
FBA
familiar with
people?
this person. To be honest
Okay.
with you, I'm not familiar with the
Well,
person.
that's why I'm kind of bringing it to you, because he's on the air in DC. Okay. Every Tuesday, he still has his show, and he's in the DC area with, what is it, WHUR and Kathy, Kathy Hughes'
Oh, that's
local
uptown.
stadium.
Like, yeah, they've
Right.
been having
So,
that for a long time.
and he still infrequently is a guest on that show as well. But the point I'm making is this.
You
What
can
his
walk right into
suggestion
that
is,
building.
hmm?
I said you could walk right into that building across the street from. I mean, if it's still there, it's across the street from Howard University.
Right. The suggestion that's being made by people like Tariq Nasheed and Umar Johnson and others with this FBA or ADOS mentality is to be on code, is to be black. You feel what I'm saying?
I disagree
Dang.
with that.
Me
I
too.
know you probably do, but what I'm saying to you is that this is where it came from, his half a century of research and the book that's referred to as The Code. Okay? So again, I'm not saying this because he's 94 years old. I am saying, what are we saying when we continue to allow a black existence like what killed Sonia Massey? Do you see what I'm saying, Dane?
Yeah, but
Okay, so
isn't that what he was saying? Like
Because of white
he's
supremacist system?
downgrading. He's downgrading the term black by saying, "Listen, if you're considered black as a black male, then you're a boy." Like he is letting you know that there is a that's a derogatory statement, but that's his way of giving an example of why it will be derogatory. No matter if you're an adult or a child, you're still going to be looked at as a child by calling yourself black. That's what I'm taking from that.
Yeah,
same
I want to
here.
hear your perspective. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying
Oh,
it's
I agree
offensive to
with that.
me
If that's
specifically. But when we see things played out like Sonia Massey, Sandra Bland, Breonna Taylor, that's why I'm going to the female versions, Sister Bethy, are those quote unquote black women that were left unprotected because the image of black males are as boys or are irresponsible.
in that sense, well, I'm not going to say irresponsible, but it is irresponsibility to a degree. It is based off of what they identified themselves with and more. There's way more to that than just that. But yeah, they belittled the women inadvertently based off of accepting a stranger's ideology of what they are and what they represent and who they are as a male or man, rather. I agree with that. I do agree with that. That's a way to belittle the man, and inadvertently it belittles the woman, because I mean, look what they're doing right now. They had Meg Thee Stallion up there shaking her ass in front of the crowd of so-called black people, male and female, as a representation of the women. Now,
Right.
of our women at that. Now, is that an ongoing thing where our women actually act this way? Absolutely not. Is it downgrading or degrading our women? Absolutely. Do I agree that they did that? No. But there's a problem that needs to be fixed, and it's not necessarily on the males or the females. It's on all of us. The problem that we got to fix, we got to step up and say something about it. We can't just sit back and let it happen.
I think
Okay,
that
so that's where I was going next, Bethy, with the cosplaying. Now, whether you want to address this with the black girl magic that they're using with, Kamami, I think she's Kamami. She's playing a mammy, and she's being used through Ski Week, aka, sororities, all this other stuff. And they're also claiming you saved Jim Crow Joe out of South Kakalaki. Remember that? So-called black woman, 98% of the vote, which most of us are Democrats, went and raised him from the political graves like Lazarus. And so you got Ketanji Brown Jackson and you got Kamami Harris on the ticket. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So what does that mean going forward when they are cosplaying? Like Kendrick Lamar says, they're not like us. They're not like us. I'm just saying they're not us. And they're hiding under blackness to our detriment. But y'all got it.
Well, personally, in my opinion, I really believe they should remove, just like Obama removed Negro, he needs to remove black as well. Okay. So that we can properly identify ourselves. Okay. If you want to keep African American there for the people who can literally prove that they're African American and are, that's fine. But I think the black should be removed because to me, black means, and it always has meant, that you have no protections, that you are not acknowledged in the Constitution. Okay. And
Well, see, that's the legal connotation, mother. But you know,
I mean,
they
I
say
know it's the
black,
legal connotation,
but
but
they claim black is the races of Africa. That's the other connotation to using the
well,
term
I,
black.
I think it should be removed, and I don't think that that should be a selection for us here on the mainland because I correct it. I literally don't like it. I do not like to be identified as a black woman. I don't because I am not a black woman. I am who I am. And I think it's a derogatory term and it should be removed from all records. If you're going to remove Negro, that's a Spanish word. It means black in Spanish. So you need to remove black too. So now people can literally see, okay, am I African American? No. So you go past that because you're not African American. You're not. Now you have to select who you really are out of the selections that they give you on any forms. Black should be removed.
Now, what about the cultural cosplaying?
Well, I don't know. I don't know about that, but I tell you this. My opinion is this right here. You know, if they can remove red from the skins, then they can go ahead and take a look at black from our skin. I know that much. Number two, Alabama. Shout out to you, Elder man. You have the uncanny ability to make any hip hop lyrics sound corny as fuck.
Well, are they not like us?
No, I'm
Or
just
not?
fucking with you. I'm just fucking. You know, I'm just playing. Look, it's just the best to just. Will you laugh? Dang, y'all niggas, man, I'm out of here. Y'all niggas, it's Friday night, man. Y'all tripping.
Well, I
No,
thought y'all were having a
No,
very
I'm playing
interesting
with y'all. I'm
thing
just
about,
teasing with y'all, man.
you
Go
know,
ahead,
but
please.
not,
Seriously.
I don't think that. I think Kamala Harris is disingenuous. I really do. And I don't believe she's one of us. I don't. The energy is not there with me. Now, she may relate with other women that are not from this landmass, but I'm just, it is what it is. To me, she's only a black woman when she's involved with a black man. Okay. When she was going with Montel Williams, she was now this black woman. Then she went with Big Willie. Now she's black. Now she's with a white man. And all of a sudden, for presidency, okay, I'm black again. But once it's over, she's going back to being the East Indian that she is. And that's a fact. And I don't like that. I don't like her doing that to try and gain the votes of my people. I'm tired, all right? We were fooled before when we thought, and I'm not saying that I hate Obama and I have things against him, but he is not a mainland, okay, aka Aboriginal mainland Niji in the Americas. He is a foreigner, literally. He's Kenyan and European. He's not one of us. I'm of this landmass, and he's not the same person as me. Now we have the same skin color, but our skin folk ain't kinfolk. And there's a lot of people claiming to be us that are not us. I'm just keeping it a buck. Everybody's not a mainland Indian. And I don't like it that they come over here and fake like they're us. Culture tells it all. We don't have the same culture as all the brown people on this landmass. We have our own distinct culture as a people. So don't tell me that brother from this land over here is who I am, because we're not. We're not culturally alike. Our foods are not alike. We don't cook alike. We don't act alike. Family wise, psychological wise, we're not alike. We are very different from a lot of the people that continue to say that they're black. And I'll leave it right there. And I'm keeping it a buck.
You know what, Sister Bethy? And everything you say is absolutely correct. But for simplicity, and I try to do as best I can to keep a message simple, Jim Crow knocks out most of these cosplaying tethers. The Africans didn't get here until, whether on student visas or whatever, the ones that we refer to as continental Africans, until the late 70s, early 80s at best. What was the Jim Crow participation of any Caribbean islander? I could care less, even if they were in the proximity of, Harlem and Jersey and Connecticut and Philly. Were they actually participating with Jim Crow? Or was there a northern version of Jim Crow as opposed to what we get all these movie narratives from the South? Like A Time to Kill. You remember that?
Yeah, I remember
Samuel
that
L.
movie.
Jackson?
Yes.
Okay. So what kind of Jim Crow are we talking about?
I don't know. You kind of got me lost there.
No, I'm saying Jim Crow as a standard. When we're dealing with skinfolk and kinfolk, and they not like us with Kendrick Lamar's. I mean, this is an anthem that's going on amongst this generation, but they're really clueless about the statement he's getting at. They're making it about him versus Drake. I am saying, what is the defining factor of the people that are the American Indian of the 48 states, not the Americans on the island or south of the Mexican border? Because they're Americans in their landmass, like you like to say, or their homelands, or their nations that have been drawn on a map. They are not the Americans that we are, that went through, whether you call it chattel slavery, Jim Crow, or segregation. You understand what I'm saying?
Correct. She doesn't come. How dare her claim to be us? Okay. First of all right. If she's so-called black, all right, where it is her proof that she is one of the descendants of Africans? Last I checked, her mother was East Indian or whatever, and her father is Jamaican. All right. So is she claiming that her father is of African descent?
Well, actually, their documents say Caucasian, Hindu, Tamil, and he even has a half Indian ancestor. His Jamaican quote unquote ancestor is an Irish supposed sugar plantation owner. Now I'm talking about the father, Donald Harris. So there's no way
Don
she
Harris
has any.
came out
Go
and
ahead.
got on Kamala Harris about this 4 years ago, telling her not to play identity politics. Called her out. Okay, didn't like the fact that she, when it was convenient, she brought up her black side as if she was raised that way. And in fact, the Associated Press came out and stated that she was raised by her mother to be black. That's inaccurate. How is that even possible when she came here by way of immigration and migrating here? I proposed a question not too long ago. I said, why do you think descendants of immigrants use the black label to their advantage? But when a black person uses it, it doesn't benefit them the same way.
Correct.
Why is that?
Well, I would have to say because it's a known fact that we are not technically Black/African American. It's only a cover up of who we really are. And for the simple fact that if you give us this fake identity, you can then enumerate us, because we here on the mainland cannot prove that we are descendants of African. We can't. It's no way we can prove that. And it's because, number one, it's not true. Now, there are people here who can prove that they are of African descent if they can find their ancestors there. Blood tests do not work in the United States. court judicial systems. They're not accepted. All right. Those blood tests that they take to try and place themselves on Africa is for entertainment purposes only. They cannot find your tribe in Africa or your dead ancestor. So it's bullcrap. I will not, there's no way I'm going to take a test made by a foreigner to take me off my land and put me on another continent. That's not working. It's not who I am. My culture is not like that. I don't know one being in Africa. Okay? One. No one in my family ever had picnics or cookouts or whatever family gatherings and talked about, oh, uncle or great aunt, whoever, boo is from Africa. We didn't have those conversations. And the reason why we didn't have them is because that's literally not who we are. And I'm tired of these people here looking at us and say, oh, you're from Africa. No, I'm not. My records put me here. All of them. No one in my family has any proof of any ancestor coming off a ship from Africa. Every time they say that, oh, you came from this part of Africa. Well, wait a minute. How is that possible if my 6th or 7th generation grandmother was born here at it, and the area that you're trying to say we came from, you established it 50 years after my granny was born here. So what the hell what are we doing here? You're telling a group of people that they're from West Africa when their ancestors were already here, and this establishment of West Africa happened when? In the 1900s? Oh, and then they go, oh, well, that was colonized and is founded in this time, but the people were in that area with, don't even try it. That's not us. And I'm tired of these foreigners trying to wipe out our history. We did not die of diseases that wiped us out. If our ancestors supposedly died of diseases, why are we still here? All right. If all the Indians, died of all these mysterious diseases supposedly brought here from Europeans, then how come all the white people didn't die?
Right.
So all the Indians died, but the white people stayed alive. I'm just tired of it. I'm very tired of it.
But sister, this is the danger of cosplaying. So what's happening now is, besides the fact they're trying to force us over to that continent, they're trying to stamp us made in African so they can steal the actual things we've done, literally the inventions, the innovations, the creation, everything that came from the American known as Negro. Now, I think you understand maybe a little bit better why I say the American known as the Negro. It does not make us a Negro, does not make us colored, does not make us black. We have the documentation. The Racial Integrity Act took away American Indian identity and made us colored. There were only 2 categories, white and colored, in the citizenship of this criminal enterprise. What is a free white person? We've done this for going better than a year now, still waiting for the courts, still haven't seen the applications. They were supposed to apply for naturalization. They were supposed to prove themselves not to be alien enemy. This is the 21st century. I don't know which one has not been an alien enemy to the American known as a Negro. But my final question for you, Dane, is this, because there was a video you've done, and I've been meaning to ask you this for a long time. When you said that 98% of us are not, could you kind of clear it up for those who may go through your archives and see when you first did that video that the American Negro, 98% of us have no African origin, or put the words correct for me, my brother, but you got it.
I think he might be on the phone with his wife. But anyway, do you
remember that video, Sister Beth?
I do remember that, but I'd much rather have him clarify it up because he clarifies it best. And Abby, yes, economically.
I'm here. I'm back, y'all. My fault.
Okay.
What's going on?
He watched that video when you did this a long time ago, maybe 4 years ago. And it was about when you stated that 98% of us are indeed not African Americans or whatever, something to that extent. Remember that video?
Oh, that was a long time ago. That was longer than 4 years ago.
Yeah. But that video,
I said 98% of so-called African Americans are in fact Native Americans. But that was it was a video.
It was
did
like
eventually
4 or
become a
5
video.
years ago.
It was an article that I wrote. No, it was longer than 5 years ago. That happened in 2016.
Okay. I wasn't in YouTube. I was on Twitter.
But it did eventually become a video that was like a video in 2017. But what about it though?
Yeah, I wanted you kind of to elaborate on it because other people have used it to try to trash you, which I know they can't do that in your head.
In what way?
Per se, but to try to imply that we are lying when the lie is Kunta Kinte. So could you elaborate on how more than 95% of the American known as a Negro, whether they accept that they're an Indian or have been categorized as colored, because that's where the crux of this matter is. We already know 100 years ago this year, the Racial Integrity Act turned the American Indian into a color designation. But could you elaborate on what you were getting at with the message of your video?
I mean, I'm not understanding what they're having a gripe with. Maybe probably just the title and they didn't look at the video nor the article. But in fact, I had numerous videos to follow up with that to show them many different ways of the reason why that was royally correct. What my statement was. At first, it was a theory, but I proved it to be true. And the reason why is because of it, multiple different things. I could point out the transatlantic slave trade, for example, and how that was told in reverse. They implemented, to summarize it, the American Colonization Society that arose in order to solve the so-called Negro problem. At that time, they called it the Negro problem. But what was the Negro problem? The problem was that the Negroes were too high in population and they needed to make room for incoming foreigners. Okay. Not only that, they had the majority of the land at that time, the majority of the crops at that time, as far as fields are concerned, before they were initially converted over to what they call plantations. I'm talking about farms at that time, agriculture. At that time, they were attacking with something that we already had, which is the basis of civilization. They knew that we were the indigenous people of this landmass, but they had to create a gimmick in order for some of our people to attach to it, to feel as though, oh, we need to go do the same exact thing that we did here in another area, which would be parts of West Africa. Now, since that did happen, the American Colonization Society, that this is their numbers, and I'm not sure if this is accurate or not, but they say between 13 to 15,000 people went to go populate some land masses on the west coast of Africa, Liberia and Sierra Leone, as an example. But yeah, it was during that time period where you saw large migrations of our people going over there. Prior to that, it was no such thing as, it was just Africans coming over here. In fact, the Africans didn't come to America in large mass until in the 1900s. There's no record of them coming in the 18, 17, nor 1600s. None. No record of that. They only came here in large mass in the 1900s. Okay. And that's after they were able to have ships, planes, trains. We're talking a long time ago now, as far as us being here. And they knew that, but they had to flip the script to make it seem like we were elsewhere so they could take over this landmass. That's a part of colonization. And to touch on the topic of you bringing up Kendrick Lamar, mentioning not like us, he also mentioned that those people are the colonizers. Why else would he say colonizer if he's not referring to colonization? It is us versus them.
He said, you're not a colleague. You're a colonizer. Now,
it is us versus them.
Yeah, that's the culture.
It has always
vultures.
been. That's the war. Regardless if you want to believe that you're African American, black, it doesn't matter. Whatever label that they gave you, Indian is a label as well. All of these labels, Negro, colored, all of them are the labels that they gave you. Who was they? The colonizer. That's what people need to see.
Exactly. So,
that's what people need to see. No matter what, The problem is that it's us versus them, and it's always been. And the reason why I brought that up is the fact that how Kamala is able to claim black is not because of her father being of Jamaican descent. Because if you go to Jamaica, they're not referring to each other as black, are they?
No.
No. Okay. When
They're
you
not.
go to Jamaica, they are not referring to each other as black. That's number
They're
one.
not.
Number
They're
two,
not.
who's referring to Jamaicans right now in America as black people?
Nobody.
Nobody. That's my Jamaican brother. Man, we going to the Jamaica store to go get the, you know what I'm saying, whatever food they got at that store,
Or
that
any
restaurant.
example you want to say, Haitian, Dominican Republican, PR, whichever. They're always using a nationality.
Correct.
But
Something that's recognized as a nationality.
But okay. I know you probably saw this article, bro. I need you to put this in the pot with what you just said. Do you hear about the last scandalous $2 billion settlement with the USDA and the quote unquote flag on the plate black farmers? Did you hear about that?
I'm looking into that because I saw also that Kamala Harris has her hand in not only the black farmers. Actually, this stretches back further than her though, so I'm not trying to put this all on her. But what is it called? The so-called Black Wall Streets dealing with the banks. The oh my God,
which were
banks.
the Negro
the
Wall
Freedmen
Streets.
banks.
You know they were Negro Wall Streets originally.
Yeah, they were Negro Wall Streets. The
Right.
Freedmen banks. She got her hand in that. And now they're trying to implement more immigrants, aka black. See, people got to understand the reason why you could tell that anybody could be black is because the reparations movement that was happening ever since 1989 with HR 40. The reason why stuff didn't go through is because other people wanted to be implemented inside of these plans. They wanted to get money. Who are these people? Black people. Dang, what do you mean by that? Not only black Americans, we talk about all of the rest of the Americas that moved here, that migrated here. They are labeled as black by way of us claiming that they're black. That's
this
the problem
is what
that
I mean about. You just gave another example of culture vulture. So these people are trying to backdoor us with their supposed colonial problems while not taking it up with their white colonizers back on their homeland.
Back on their home turf.
Exactly.
Back on their home turf. I'm not saying that we didn't go through something similar, but we did go through something different. You were from a different landmass.
Right.
Okay,
Absolutely.
than this.
But let me give you one other thing because these go side by side. You got the $2 billion that's being used now. The $2 billion is a slick move because the $4.5 billion. You familiar with the other one, the Pickford 1 and 2 settlement? The $4.5 billion was specific to black farmers. The $2 billion they're using this farmers of color and women farmers, Sister Bethy, because that $4.5 billion they let the white farmers sue for discrimination, targeting the same farmers who have actually been discriminated against by the USDA since 1965.
Right.
That's what this ruling is on. Yeah. But the 65.
Thank you, Lady Moon.
But the 65, though, Dane, was where they culminated what they call the farmers' claim back then.
And
they
it goes
then
further
rolled
back.
it under Pickford.
I did a documentary on
that?
this. I did actually 2 documentaries on that, and I was bringing up all of those old videos so people could see that it wasn't just me stating this. It was multiple black farmers. I spoke about that when I was talking about the banks. I know it was around that
John
same
Boyd,
time.
Dane, do you think you can get an interview with him? John
Say
Boyd,
what now?
Do you think you can get an interview with the founder of the Black Farmers Association?
I don't know.
John Boyd.
Well, that would be a really great interview.
Because here's why, and this is I'm gonna leave on this, Sister Bethy, because I'm hotter than fish grease. Okay, I'm hotter than fish grease. He recounted how the USDA man spit in his face with chewing tobacco.
Oh,
he also recounted
I played that video.
Okay.
There's a video of that.
I hope you can have him come on and I'd rather him talk to you than Judge Joe Brown. But let me not divert.
Oh gosh, don't say that name. He might show up.
I'm saying that he said, and this is in the ruling of the USDA's discrimination, that we have lost 96% of our farmland, Bethy, since 65. Yes. How do slaves have that land? Explain that to me, please, Dane. Could you work on that?
And here's another thing. On top of that, how was Frederick Douglass able to save those freedmen banks? See, they correlate. They correlate. How is able? They said tens of thousands of dollars of Frederick Douglass's own money that he put up in order to save the freedmen banks from collapsing.
Correct.
Where did that money come from? And you know what people forgot? I'm talking about totally. Our people forgot that our people were the original landowners.
Correct.
I'm talking Frederick Douglass owned so much land. It don't make sense. People never thought about that. They never thought to look up where his money came from. And when I looked that up, I said, look, y'all, he was a big time landowner. So was everybody else. But the only way you're going to know that is if you look up your own family. Say it again.
And Anthony Johnson, all them slaves he owned in Virginia. Now, bust this. They have been trying so hard to make that man an African. There is no way that anybody came from Africa, Dane, and owned over 500, 500 something slaves Anthony Johnson owned in Virginia. How is an African going to come from Africa and own over 500 something slaves in Virginia?
Man,
that makes no sense, Dane.
They're not going to be able to pull themselves up by their own bootstraps.
they can't. And also, it's literally recorded, Dane, what they wanted to do with the Indians after they enslaved us, because they enslaved us. They wanted to kill the Indian, save the man. And what did they do? They told them to become farmers. Who had all the farmland? We did. See, that's why I said they got to stop this mess.
Kill the Indian, save the man. That was about disenfranchisement. That was disenfranchising the Indians, or whatever you want to call them, the Negroes, us, our people, disenfranchising us from what we already had established.
Correct.
Keep in mind, these foreigners came over here having to copy what we already had in order for themselves to be afloat with what we had going on. Theirs was separate. We made the mistake by attaching ourselves to their government.
Correct.
But they were banking on that. That's the reason why they taught the children in the schools to do that. Okay, they couldn't teach it to the adults. The adults knew better. They made sure that they waited until those generations died off to teach the children inside of the schools. Look, you need to be a part of this government. And then we became citizens of this government. I'm telling you, what was Frederick? How was Frederick Douglass? To bring him back up, we could pick anybody, but just Frederick Douglass. When did he become a citizen of America? Correction, citizen of the United States.
Okay, Dane, I gotta ask you this since you brought that up.
I don't,
please do a build on the Dancing Rabbit Treaty of 1866 and the Article 14 citizenship, not 14th Amendment.
I already did.
Birthright citizenship. The Article 14 citizenship that took American Indians out of their status.
I did it at least 6 or 7 times in multiple different ways. I did it already. I'll do it again. I don't have no problem with doing that, but I broke it all the way down to the Virginia Rights Act, how they implemented that. Oh, and also brought up the bigot. What's his name? That started the
Indian killer, Andrew Jackson.
No. Andrew, not. Well, yeah, him too. But no. I'm talking about when they started changing the records and they started moving them over and giving it to the Mormons. It was what's that boy's name?
Not John Smith.
Plecker.
Oh, Walter Plecker. Okay, that's
Walter Plecker.
That's 1924 with the Racial Integrity Act.
Right, but see, even then we weren't citizens. That's the reason why I'm bringing this up. No, we weren't. We weren't citizens at all until the 1960s.
Right, correct. Because in 1830 is when they gave us an option. They in 1830 they were like taking our lands and in exchange for us to move to the West, and 99% of us said hell no, they didn't leave their land. And then that's when he said, well, you become citizens of the state of your residence of your state. It was war back then because they wanted us to get out.
Even to go back to that 14th Amendment, when you look at that, it was supposed to be Indians not taxed.
Facts.
And that's dating all the way back to the 1790s. They knew they did it wrong. That's why they had to implement their new constitution in 1871. They knew they did it wrong. And then white supremacy came in 1890. It took them a while. They couldn't have got it done in the 1700s. They didn't have a stronghold.
You're making me bring you another log here again. Now, under the citizenship of the United Snakes of America, I still haven't gotten a clear understanding or someone to really define who the free white person was. That's from 1790. In 1870, that Naturalization Act brought in African nativity and those of African descent. Blast it, brother. Blast that bullshit.
1790 Naturalization Act is that's when they told you that any citizen of America, of the United States, will be white only. There was no other citizen of America but white. 1790. And that lasted all the way up until 1952. That's what people need to understand. 1952. They did not change a thing. All they did was implement more foreigners to come in. Keep in mind, they never wrote down black. They never wrote down African American. They never wrote down Negro. They never wrote down colored. And here's another thing on the amendments. The only terminology that they will use is slaves. And our people are automatically assuming that means us. But no, it does not. Negro doesn't mean slave. Black doesn't mean slave. African American doesn't mean slave. Colored doesn't mean slave. Indian doesn't mean slave. So what do you mean? What do you mean it's related to us? Well, dang, I mean, we are the people. Are you sure about that? When they say we the people, are you sure that they're referring to the public? Are you sure that they're referring to you? Name the people that came together with those people that wrote, that you claim that are forefathers of this country that wrote that documentation or legislation rather.
Correct.
Who were our people? Who were our representatives that were sitting at that same table? They're nowhere near to be found. This is another reason why they want you to continuously call yourselves black, because you will be nowhere near to be found within their legislation.
You are a corpse, civilly dead under any law and all law. But one last thing on that, though, Dane, the birthright citizenship is what attaches to that 1870 Naturalization Act. This is where, like you said, 1870, 1880, 1890. This is when these massive immigration.
Yes.
Go ahead, cook on it, brother.
That's it. That's when they were coming in. That's when they were writing themselves in. That's it. That's right there. When they were writing themselves in to make themselves okay. And then on top of that, the reason why I brought up that term white is because that was a privilege as a status up under this government. So you were given special privileges if you agreed to become white up under this government. Hey, we're going to allot land to you. Oh, don't worry about where it's coming from. I mean, of course, we're stealing it from the indigenous people, but we're going to give it to you here. Matter of fact, you're going to take discounts on crops. There's going to be discounts on moving from place to place. We're not too sure if we're going to be able to set you up with a job. You probably still going to struggle with that, but at least you still going to be able to have your family. What happened?
No, I hit the wrong button. I apologize.
Nah, at least you still gonna be able to have your family.
You Friday jamming on us, Sister Beth.
No,
at least you're still gonna be able to have your family, and you still gonna be able to move around with your family. They're not gonna separate you and your family, or you from your family. But they were putting themselves in position, putting these immigrants in position to win. And all of the original, I'm talking about the original mansions, the original houses, the original buildings, the original businesses, the original farms were being handed to incoming foreigners.
Correct.
That they turned into state houses, that they turned into penitentiaries, that they turned into forts for all of these ports to start trade and advancement. And by the way, one other thing on that
Martin Luther King told
citizenship.
Martin Luther King told him that. And people didn't listen. He verbatim told you what was happening. Verbatim. And people was not listening to him at that point. At that point, it was, yes, go ahead, brother. And he was telling you then, straight up, he was like, listen.
They mechanized their farms.
Mechanized our farms is what he said.
Yep.
He said, what'd he say?
To undergird the peasants. But go ahead, brother.
I'm trying to think of how he started it off.
That the Negro was exiled in his own land. I got only bits and pieces of it, but you've done a great build on that. And the other thing too, how they transition into this 5 to 7 year tax-free status that's current in the 21st century. Everything that you just laid out, that's what's evolved into, what's being given. That's why we can see Afghanistan get $100,000 bag. Ukrainians get $150,000 bag. These people who's just crossed the border getting a 1.8 million at how many per head
that's
of household.
What he said. It came to me as soon as you brought that up because that's how he started it. He said, at the same time that America refused to give the Negro any land, through an act of Congress, our government was giving away millions of acres of land throughout the West and the Midwest, which meant that it was willing to undergird its white peasants with an economic floor. That's what they need to hear. And he said, not only did they receive the land, they built land grant colleges with government money to teach them how to farm. Not only that, they provided county agents to further their expertise in farming. Who do you think those people were? God damn it.
Now, you don't. Not only that,
they provided low interest rates in order that they could mechanize our farms. Listen to that. They provided low interest rates in order that they could mechanize our farms.
You moved
and he said today, many of these people are receiving millions of dollars in federal subsidies not to farm. And they are the very people telling the black man that he ought to lift himself by his own bootstraps.
With no support.
I'm trying to tell you that he was already telling people this and people were not listening at all.
Now you moved here, brother. You know what Texas A&M Aggie land is, right? Now that you hear.
You breaking
agriculture, Texas A&M, Dane. You done moved here to the Lone Star State. You're around Aggie land. You know about it now?
You chopping up a lot too. Like, I'm not sure if that's just me, but your audio's choppy.
Texas A&M, I'm saying now that you moved to the Lone Star State, you're going to dig into Texas A&M, the Aggie land, agriculture and machinery or mechanism.
Yeah. I did a segment on the universities. That was actually one of the videos that YouTube took down. But yeah, I did a segment on the universities. That was a while ago. But I was showing people then where that land came from. Not just the universities, the ones that they put the military bases on. Nothing but our ancestors' land. Not only that, these are the places that our ancestors are buried. Let me let that sink in. They putting military bases on the territories that our ancestors were buried.
That's sacred land. In addition, you can't get it claiming to be from a foreign continent. Would you agree, young brother?
Man, my equipment is jumping through the roof because all these phones. Hold on. Okay, say that one more time, brother. Say it again.
That's sacred land, and you can't claim it saying you from another land, can you, my brother?
Nah, not at all. And then we holding ourselves back by latching onto these terms that they keep giving us. And our people need to wake up and really realize that it's about us versus them. It always has been. Like, who are they to come up with these lands on a territory that they never, ever had any business touching to begin with? Claiming that this is theirs. Well, I'm going to plant my flag right here. It's mine now. Who died and made them king? But see, that's all the more reason why you need to disassociate yourselves with the terms that they gave you. Because if you referring to yourselves by these terms that they gave you, you are the dead person or dead entity. Unfortunately, I think the people are not really going to see that until they see it for themselves, like on an individual basis. They don't know what the fight is about. They think the fight is about black and white. The whole time the fight is on black and white. It's by paper. They killed you by way of the pen, not the sword.
Yes. This is a fact.
I gotta answer this call, y'all. Hold on a minute.
You know, I found the very script that you were. Let me save it. Oh, go ahead, Cuddy. I'm saving something in the back.
It was powerful.
Let's see. Let me see. I'll put it here for now. I want to put it somewhere I can find it. Every time I do it, I can't find it. Okay. Oh, there it is right there. There it is. I found it. Yeah, I got it. I'm just pulling up what Dane had said. Here it is. I think I got it. What he was looking for. He was talking about, this is what Martin Luther King was talking about. At the very same time that America refused to give the Negro any land through an act of Congress, our government was giving away millions of acres of land in the West and the Midwest, which meant that it was willing to undergird its white peasants from Europe with an economic floor. But not only did they give the land, they built land grant colleges with government money to teach them how to farm. Not only that, they provided county agents to further their expertise in farming. Not only that, they provided low interest rates in order that they could mechanize their farms. Not only that, today, many of these people are receiving millions of dollars in federal subsidies not to farm. And they are the very people telling the black man that he ought to lift himself up by his own bootstraps.
Okay, I'm back now. My fault.
This is what we are faced with, and this is reality.
Now, when we come to Washington in this campaign, we're coming to get our check.
To get our check. And they have misconstrued that statement ever since to this very day. Now, circling back to the 2 billion, Dane, and I know you get it already. This is for the slow bus, the mentally challenged, those slow on the uptake. Those $2 billion, which are pittance, which are pennies. John Boyd said in this, I think it was a Democracy Now! Interview that I heard him on, Bessie, that it was 20 million acres in 1900. We have lost 96%. There were 1 million Americans known as Negroes farming that land. How were they slaves again? And ultimately, the USDA policy is what you just read, my sister, in the last portions. Farm subsidies, low interest, zero interest loans, giving away massive amounts of tracts of our land through the federal trust under the Bureau of Indian Affairs and the Bureau of Land Management. Is that not a federal crime, my good brother Dane?
It is. Absolutely. I pointed this out numerous times. Even wrote a book about it called Fixing America's Broken Promise. Just think about it. What is America's broken promise? Our people have no idea. Keep in mind, we were supposed to be, and this is the reason why MLK got attached to that government, because he didn't know until the very end, when he thought that it was supposed to be us working with the government. Okay, they're going to get this done. They're going to get that done. And right at the last years of his life, he noticed that the government was working against us. Then he spilled the beans. Like, nah, I led my people into a burning house. It wasn't never meant to work with us or work in our favor. He knew he did something wrong. He just didn't know to what extent. And by the time he found out, it was too late. And he had to remove him because he was going to spill even more beans, and which our people have no idea about now. And they haven't, I'm telling you, our people will probably be better off today if MLK had the opportunity to spill all the beans back then. But they took him out before he even got the chance to do more.
Well, Dane, you know, they purposely crossed it up with the Vietnam War because he was talking both things at the Poor People's Campaign and how the money was being diverted from poverty, quote unquote, to the war effort. That's when they put the target on him in the public realm, because that's when they pushed that communist crap and all this other stuff. But go ahead.
He was exposing a lot of what the government was doing because he was involved in the government. There was only one way for him to know that he was involved. Now, some people would say that he's Republican. I'm going to tell you that he was Democrat, but he realized that he made a mistake. By the time he realized that he made a mistake, it was too late. It was too late, and they took him out. Set him up, too. Made sure his inner crew was in on it. Set him up. When I showed people, I went live and showed people who killed him. I see that now Judge Joe Brown, they got Judge Joe Brown coming out there trying to tell everybody who killed Martin Luther King when I been did it. And this was a few months ago. So I see now that they're going to be using certain people to try to steer the narrative. But I show people the paperwork. I show people the documents. The King family sued the government and held them responsible and won. Sued them for 1 penny, a civil suit, because all they wanted to do was get the information out so you could know who the co-conspirators were and why. I'm talking about the military was involved, the police was involved, all these people to take him out, one person. The military, police, his so-called running mates, his brothers, the ones that look like you and I were involved. The FBI was involved. The CIA was involved. All of this came out in court records. It was horrible. But they had to take him out because his next thing was that Poor People's Campaign. And that Poor People's Campaign was bringing everybody together at that point and say, look, it don't matter if you're Democrat or Republican. Come now. This government is our enemy. Here's why. It was white people that was with him that didn't know that was going on. They were trying to figure out why their families were able-bodied as soon as they were, migrated over here. Like, how was that even possible? It was set up that way.
J. Edgar Hoover explicitly put that in COINTEL program. Black Messiah only means a messenger.
Yeah,
he didn't like one national threat.
He didn't like him at all. Yeah. He had a target on his back and his front. And every which way.
So the reason why I brought up this on code nonsense that goes on, and I know you don't agree with it, Dave, but I brought it up for those in the community who are still trying to get out of this coma of black consciousness, black nationalism, black theology, black biggity, black, blue, black, the be black, the black, when it still winds up being dead in law and in life. That was the only reason I brought it up, but I was a bit perturbed by how my good elder suggested that we're still the coon buffoon boys, like tap dancing for Shirley Temple. You feel me?
But he's talking about, I don't think he's saying, see, that's another thing. I would have to see where he's coming from, but I don't think, I didn't take it like that when I first heard it from you. I took it like he was like trying to explain the narrative behind that term black and why people should not attach themselves to that. Otherwise, you'll be this. And that's what he You know, he gave his little statement on. I don't know the brother. You know, I never seen the brother, never heard of the brother. But based off of what what I heard from you coming from him, that's what I got from it.
And I don't want to sound like I'm spinning the narrative because I am putting my opinion on it. But again, his statement was simply this: when he only uses white, non-white, and white supremacists, the non-white is supposedly referencing people who call themselves black. But the system is based on white dynamics. You see what I'm saying? So anything not white is inferior, and therefore anything painted as black is a boy, a minor, a child, a ward of the state.
And if you look at it within the context, he's right. He's right. Now, not trying to say that he's trying to belittle the people, but he's trying to let them know the negative connotation behind that and how it trickles down and hurts our women. That's what I get from that. I don't think he has that with the negative intention of saying.
I want him here for a long time. I want him here for his 95th birthday before the election cycle. If you can interview
95th? He's 90?
He will be 95 on the same month of the great stock market crash in October of 1929. Born a Muskogee Creek Indian. This is no different than what you did back and forth with Joe Brown, disrespecting his grandmother, registering him as a Choctaw, not Choctaw, but we know the difference. But he was registered.
Yeah, he didn't want to hang on to that.
Yeah, well, okay. So now every time
he wanted to
ask
bypass
the elder, yeah, he continuously ignores that fact, by the way, biological and genetic fact. When I keep asking this of our good brother, he grew up in Oklahoma. He grew up where the Negro Wall Streets were. Muskogee has a lot of, you've probably seen those ancient, those black and white pictures of God, Solomon. I can't think of his name right now, but you probably know the ones I'm talking about that reference a lot of those communities in the teens, in the 1920s. He was born into that in 1929.
Yeah.
And so was Viola Ford Fletcher a decade before him in the teens. They were born into their American Indianness, but we are disrespecting them as they're still with us, as our ancestors on this ground, by using black terminology, by doing that nuisance lawsuit. And will you do a build on that? I hope you do. About the Oklahoma Supreme Court ruling against
absolutely
the destruction.
I have before. I actually did it twice during the live stream, but I will do an update on that. I've been paying attention to what's going on. I actually got people involved over there. So, I mean, they giving me, boots on the ground. So they're giving me intel.
Well, Cuddy, who just dropped off, that he's intending to do that this weekend, dang. So I don't know if he said he's going to reach out to you. If he's interviewing her grandson that represents her foundation, brother, how we disrespect. This is what I meant about leaving our women unprotected earlier. How we're disregarding. She's with us, and they want her to die. So they
want her to die off. Sister Betty, can you switch the hold on real quick. Let me just take this. Can you switch the settings or how you got it split screened? Okay, there we go. Yeah. Thank you. Go ahead, brother. Say it again.
Because the way she's being disrespected by us, not them, we should expect that. If you heard the videotape response in the Supreme Court ruling, one of the white females, flag on the play, we say over here today, was almost in tears talking about not knowing of this as a child. However, in the same report, that's the official document of the legislature of Oklahoma, they acknowledged they intended and attempted to wipe out the historical record. That's Tulsa the city, Tulsa the county, and Oklahoma the state. Now, they didn't rule in their behalf under this public nuisance lawsuit because they didn't want to open the floodgates, as they said, I'm paraphrasing from the ruling, against state and non-state actors. The Mayor Bynum of that city today is a direct descendant of a massacre participant, and he is literally digging up dead bodies. That's an active crime scene.
And somebody's based off of my research of what I have, the DA is involved as well. They have ancestors that was a part of it. And I'm not surprised.
Which is why they will never file charges, because murder has no jurisdiction and no statute of limitations.
They knew what they did. But they don't want to see, just like how back then they don't want to see any because they blamed the so-called black people back then. Oh, this all happened because of us. That's what they were saying back then, and they're saying it now. A different way, but they're still saying it. Like, oh no, y'all
Within
need to be held
24
responsible for that.
hours, on June 2nd, 1921, the actual insurance companies said they burned down their own homes and businesses. The insurance companies, they paid to insure them against the race massacre put on them. They were not covered by blaming the victim. And when this stuff really gets blown up, Dane, yeah, I know you understand that.
That was purposely done.
I'm saying these are examples of whether I agree with Nathan Fuller Jr.'s framing of it or not. Our Aboriginal women are being unprotected by being categorized as black. If you haven't heard of the brother Sean Rochester, he wrote a book called The Black Tax that has documented chapter and verse throughout the agencies, federal and state and local, on how from cradle to grave, there is such a thing as a black existence. When we keep joking about we pay a black tax, you feel me, brother?
Yeah.
That's not being clearly communicated so that people stop being flippant, FBA, ADOS, talking they're black, and there's such a thing as black culture. Get a copy of that book. It should be there next to that Holy Bible, whether you're a believer or not. If you want to be black, you want to call yourself black, then go get the documented history of living a black existence. And you're definitely liable to line up dead while black. But keep doing what you're doing, young brother. I got you back 100%.
Absolutely, brother. Like, and your thing was choppy the whole time. You know, I'm sure that can't be just me hearing that, but it was choppy.
Yeah,
but
I think it's because he drives, and he'd probably be on bad roads. But I wanted to show y'all something really quick.
Sister Betty, I probably got like five more minutes. I gotta.
Okay.
I gotta get to it.
All right, I'm gonna show you this. I'm just uploading it so you can see it for what it is.
Okay.
Okay, it's coming now. Let me get rid of this. All right. Let me see. Oh, here it is. I got it. Oh, I hate when this happens. I got too many damn slides in here.
I can't even see your chat. Are you still live?
Oh, yeah, I'm still live.
Hold on.
You got to change it to comments.
Oh, okay. Wait, man.
I got a YouTube opened up on my other screen. I can see everybody.
Okay, nah, it popped up. Yeah, I was.
Okay, so. Feathers Up. Can you turn your camera on? Because I don't know who you are, and I don't want to get porn bombed. I can't see you.
98% on the marble.
Who are you?
I'm just trying to do business with the great dame.
Who is this?
This is the Thurgood, sisters. Thurgood. How are you?
This is who?
Thurgood.
Oh, okay. Hang on 1 second. I just want to show Dane something because he only got 5 minutes. But I was looking at this, y'all, right? This is the federal part of taxes that's withheld from our pay. So you got federal withholding, and that's the amount of federal income tax withheld from your paycheck. Then you got the Medicare, which is the FED Med, and then you got Fed OASDI, which is old age survivors and disability insurance, employee expense. Okay. The hugest portion that's taken is the Fed withholding. I personally, because they don't give a shit, that's the money they send to fund these damn wars in foreign countries. I could go with the Medicare and I could go with the Fed for disability insurance, but that bigger amount, look, they're funding foreign people's wars and selling, sending military weapons over the fund. This is the part where you need to go in and say, stop taking that out my check. Because they don't give you no damn loans and nothing as a people. Now, I don't mind saving for my, Social Security, which is what the Fed Med and the insurance, that goes towards that funds Social Security, which is the bottom one. But the top one, that's the biggest amount coming out your damn paycheck. And I feel that we need to go to our employers and tell them to stop taking that out because we're not funding any damn wars. They don't even help us as a people. And you can do that. I'm like, that's like $500 each paycheck. You can stop that because that's where you're funding foreigners. You're sending money over to these people's countries. I don't know nobody in Ukraine, Iraq, all them other European countries. That's where that damn money's going.
I recall I did a live stream about the New York mayor. And by the way, he's supposed to be of color too. Giving those incoming foreigners or illegal immigrants rather money, right? When I did that live stream, people flipped. So did I, because those people were supposed to be getting more than veterans. Come to find out, they getting way more than that. In New York, the illegal immigrants are getting between $9,000 to $20,000 a month. It's out now. And the illegal immigrants taking pictures, screenshotting their receipts and everything, putting it up online. They don't care.
Well, they're fun. Where that Fed withholding, that 11.75%, that's how they're funding their countries. It's going to every European country. And I'm tired of funding them and taking care of them because we don't get take care here. Okay, I understand funding Medicare and the old age for which funds Social Security. But the top one, they could take that off. And believe me, that's like if you're the Fed withholding is the bulk of what's coming out of your paycheck. That's like $500 damn dollars. That top one alone. And then the bottom two have their separate amounts. I'm sorry. I would stop this one right here on the top. And it says it on your paycheck, Fed withholding. Stop funding these damn foreigners because they ain't taking care of us. For real. It's okay that they can fund and help their ancestral countries. But what about when it comes to ours? Who is ours going to? Don't say Africa because we ain't from no damn Africa. If that's the case, stop funding Africa because I'm not from Africa. If you're sending money over to them. I would go on my employer and tell them to stop this Fed withholding deduction on the top because you're Indian not taxed. Facts. The top federal withholding. You're like Indian idea. Not taxed. And you want it removed because you're not helping my ancestors here. The descendants of my ancestors here. But this money goes to their ancestral countries. I would go right to them and watch your paycheck increase. I just thought that was important. That's very important. If you stop that, the only thing you're going to be funding is Social Security so that when you retire, you get your Social Security. But the top one, you're caring for foreigners' ancestral lands. That's why that top amount is why they're able to fund Ukraine and all them other places they're giving weapons to, because we're paying into that. And we don't need to pay into that. It has no concern of us. Those other foreign countries. So that's some shit. I mean, what do y'all think? What do you think, Dane?
I like that idea. They will have to see. Here's another thing, right? Just stop doing it. Because even if we bring this up to the government and say, well, we're going to stop doing it for this reason, we're going to stop doing it for that reason, they'll probably put sanctions out and whatever. They'll try to implement something that'll take, people's minds away from doing that. Just straight up do it.
Well, you got your card and your proof that you're Indian, not tax. It's them against you.
Yeah.
What are they going to tell you? You're from Africa. I got you from there. Oh, you do? Proof that you got me from Africa right now. Because I've been here before.
People tied up into citizenship.
Huh?
They got the people tied up into citizenship.
Yeah, but you got Indians tied up into citizenship.
That's what I'm talking about.
Come in and correct yourself.
Yeah.
And you're Indian. You're Indian, and you're not supposed to be taxing me to pay for foreign wars. We have no interest in foreign wars as Indians. I'll pay for the Social Security because I want to be able to retire. I will continue to fund that. And I'll continue to fund Medicare because I'm going to need those benefits as well. But the top one has no concern of us Indians. We do not care to fight and fund wars, provide foreigners with mass destruction weapons. I'm sorry.
Sister Betty, that is a logical statement, but even as a statement, it's a political one. And so that gets back to, again, the cosplaying, being categorized as black, the being used in that fashion so that others benefit at our expense. And until, you know what my message is very simple, there is only one America, period. I don't care about people waving flag or doing the identity theft.
Oh, wait.
Because it's
hold on 1 second. Hold up 1 second. I'm very sorry for cutting you off. I'm taking you off my panel. Dane, you oh no, that's right. Get off.
He was trying to slander.
I didn't even know who that was.
Yeah.
I didn't know who that was. You cannot come on my panel ever again, you little damn punk.
Trying to slander him with the posting under his name. And I'm not gonna repeat it because Joe Brown did that same thing.
I saw it. I saw that.
Yeah.
No, what it is, you're jealous of Dane because he drops the balls and drops the bombs for us. So you keep your little reptilian ass away from my channel. You're a hater and you're mad and you're jealous of him because he's successfully teaching our history and he has the crowds and you don't.
And that speaks for itself. So in agreeing with your position, I'm just saying that, again, we undercut ourselves by letting these black references, the African American, any of these other references, they're all labels that are taking us out of our Americanness. That's the only point that I keep underscoring. So whether we call ourselves Indian or not, and Dane said it too, I just like to state that the least inaccurate label is American because it refers to copper-colored Aborigines of this land, period. Now, whether you can draw your ancestry from that gets into the cosplaying and the skin folk and kinfolk. You see what I'm saying? Because if you notice, they never reference themselves as copper colored either. They don't call themselves black back over in the African continent. They don't call themselves black in the Caribbean islands. It's only when they get on the mainland they want to associate themselves with us, and that's with the cosplaying through the culture of hip-hop.
Well, that's fine too, but we have to be who we are in that Constitution at the time of writing it. And right now, you have to
Indians
be that.
Not taxed.
You're damn right, and that ain't got nothing to do with. Not to be funny, what you're saying, that's not going to help us. We know we're the Americans. We know we're the first ones here.
This is where the political positioning comes from.
Right. But did we even name
how the politics?
Or Ali Bamu, did we even name our landmass America? Let's keep it a buck. Did we call our landmass here America? Did we do that, or did this dude Vespucci call it America?
Well, it's not. I'm sure Dane will go into the Turtle Island and some
I don't
other
know.
stuff. But
Dane, did you explain that?
The Colonial War Department, because I know you don't want to give away your tea, but I've always been interested on
My fault. Say it again.
No, I said I know you don't want to spill the tea, but I wondered sometime if you'll do an archive of the Colonial War Department investigative research and documentation that you've got. I heard you in a video a long time ago say that's where you came across Niji as a term that we use to reference each other, like brother, like sister, like cousin. She was asking, did we ever call our land America other than the references you may have come across about Turtle Island? Because to me, that's just getting caught up in semantics. And I'm not saying she's intending to do that. I'm saying
No, I'm not. But
regardless,
I would like to know, Dane, what did our ancestors call this landmass? Our
Turtle Island.
ancestor. Okay.
Turtle Island is a reference.
Turtle Island.
But that's within the different tribal groupings of our people as well. But when you got foreign invaders mapping and surveying, this was the theft that gets started. And so what I'm saying, Bethy, again, it's not talking against what you're saying. The least inaccurate foreign identification of the people who are inhabitants of this landmass, the 48 contiguous, not Mexico, not Canada, the 48 contiguous states, is American because we're the descendants of the copper-colored Aboriginal people of this land. Now, when you get into Indian not taxed, now you're talking about laws and what happened under the contract of the law. Now, the 1866 and the 1968 Indian Civil Rights Act, Dane, I know you're aware of that. Why is it we can't seem to get that communicated for people to understand that's the only law applied to us? There is no Negro law, no black law, no colored law under the Constitution or of the acts of Congress. What say
People
you,
don't
brother?
want to read. People don't want to see it. And before it was called America, it was America. I did a segment. Oh, wait, I'm jumping the gun. I didn't put this out yet. But
well, put it out because we need
I'm
to
gonna put it out.
have it put out. And I'm
No,
not gonna hold you here long. Huh?
You know what it was? My wife did hers. I did a little bit, and the bigger segment that we did together is not out yet. And then y'all about to see that though. I'm gonna put it out.
Yeah, I would like to have that out so we could call this land what our ancestors called it.
Yeah. But he's right
Now,
though, by way of tribal affiliation, it would be Turtle Island.
I hear A1, but he's more and more, but I hear him, teach, that I guess over in South America or maybe Peru, they call it Amaru, but our ancestors here on the mainland, I would like to know what they called our landmass, where we're at on the mainland. I don't mean South America and Central America. What did we call it? How did we identify our part of the land?
But when we distance ourselves, and I'm not saying we're trying to do that, I'm just saying for a map situation, north of the Canadian border, south of the Mexican border, there is something distinct about the 48 contiguous states, and everybody, even from Mexico and Canada and the rest of the planet, are coming to the 48 to jump on the nigga. Okay? So let's not get it twisted. People keep trying to divert our attention, trying to distract from what's going on. The agenda is get the nigga. But here,
well, we already know that. We all know that, Ali Bamo, and I agree with you. I'm not disagreeing with you on that there, but I just think that it's very important that we understand what our ancestors here on the mainland, how they identified this part of the land that our ancestors stayed on.
No, I got you,
Okay?
sister. And that's what I'm saying. That's why I'm saying when he makes reference to the Colonial War Department records, that's where it was. First of all, it was identified for them to start establishing surveyors to do colonization. Would you agree, Dane?
That's true. They actually still going on. It's still going on. Keep in mind that was the department before it was any other department. That was the Department of Commerce and Labor. And they were going out sending surveyors of the land. And this is how you got I'm about to change the subject a tad bit here, but just the same surveyors that were out there to try to say, okay, this particular land is now going to be considered territory by way of national park. This particular land is going to be territory that's going to be used for tourist attractions like that. They'll start surveying different lands. Like the underground railroads, and they started associating, okay, with that building, we're going to use that. We're going to use that building. They'll do that. I did post those up. That was done by acts of Congress. A few of them I have posted up, but as far as the War Department records, they named this. I mean, they refer to this territory as America. I'm going to show people when that first, when that came about. He's right though. As far as the War Department, yeah, they refer to this territory as America.
Right. No, I get that, but I just want to see you and Tanisha do a segment on what we actually called it before they gave it the name they wanted it to have. And also, I know you got to go because I want to go and shower and get ready to watch Smoke, who's coming on at 7:00. But y'all look into this. That top one, you should, seriously, that top one, you should go to your employer and tell them to stop taking that out.
And thank you, Queen Mother and Dane, for your very valuable time. And you're absolutely correct about that. But remember, that is attached to the employer. They double dip by making the employer pay that other 11.5%. So you're right, sister. You're absolutely right. But people aren't putting themselves in their correct status as the American, known as a Negro. They let the Negro stuff keep them a slave wage. They keep them a wage slave and they keep them employee instead of empowering themselves to transition to be the landlord, to be the owner, to run the business. And that's what we should be doing as far as our children and grandchildren are concerned. But thank you again for the time. Dane, keep doing what you're doing. Maybe you want to put that on and rerun that, what you got on there about come to collect a check, Bethy. Because that last catchphrase, they need to. But see, the slow bus folks don't know what leads up to collecting a check. They just want to hear about collect the check. And then they run to FBA and talk slave reparations. But thank you for the time.
Thank you too, Ali Babo nephew. Thank you. Love you, Day. I love you, Tanisha, if you listening. I love you, Ali Babo. I love everybody in the chat so much. I truly do. And I appreciate y'all sharing this time with me. But I'm about to get out of here, go shower up, and I'm going to watch Smoke channel. He'll be on in 30 minutes. So love y'all. I'm out. I know you got to go, Dane. See y'all later. Yep. Love y'all.
Y'all take care. Wado.
Yep. Wado.
Time's been moving slowly, so we already in too deep. Can't get no sleep on each other, heavy teasing all day, and when the sun sets, you asking me to come through, kick it with you. Night turn to morning dew, then you feel it rushing and lose control. You don't wanna go slow, for sure. We both already know your place is my place. No, my place is your place. Let's face it, baby. You know all the places. My place is your place. My place. Your place is my place. Just face it. No one knows my places like you do. Your places like I do. My place like you do. Baby, don't stop. Got the key to the lock. We in our own zone. Make your